I appreciate that. Thank you for the testing in the chat. I was trying to get... Am I still muted? Oh no. Sounds good. Okay, cool. I'm scared. I muted myself for a second because I was coughing. I was trying to get chat to work on my screen here. It's still not working. Okay, cool. But I had just trying to get chat to pop up on my chat thing on OBS. It's still not working, so still can't see chat conversations on OBS screen, but I'll work on it again later. Only nice thing is I can at least move my chat around, which means I can move my chat closer to my chat on, not chat, my script on my game. And then I can easily reply. Yeah, tomorrow we can try to work on the coding. I redid it because I thought maybe I'd put the wrong link address in the thing during the original testing of the thing I was shown. Still didn't do it. So I'm not sure what I need to link correctly. I can make the actual chat pop up on here, but I know tomorrow's a holiday. It's not a holiday I do much on. Just woke up. I did too. I was gonna totally be on earlier, and then I continue to sleep in, even though I say I'm gonna be here. It is what it is. All right, so I'm gonna keep coughing because I'm waking up, and I ate something, so my body just is like, I hate. So we got through all of Sheen's options, and now we are going to start on Yves's story for the first time. And his is probably going to end sad, just like everybody else's. There's too many cords wrapped around each other right now. So we're going to see how it goes. Tomorrow is a day off only, plus food. That's fair. I do enjoy food, especially on my days off. All right. So we're going to go here. Oh, I can't skip because you want me to pick an option. We're going to go to the field. I feel like I'm going to keep coughing. I brought water because I'm out of soda. It works. You have the rest of the week off. That sounds awesome. I'm not even off today. I will go in late because we're getting ready for a sale that happens on Friday. Oop, there he is. He's a real person now. We're going to start Yves' story. Yes, we are. I mean, I'm working currently, but after today I'm free.
場所は知っている。時は知っている。
There's no such thing as having a week off unless I request it. Alright, so this is Flames, which perfectly makes sense for Yves' story because he is the one that burned up in the orphanage. He knew the location, he knew the time.
失われるものも知っている。
He also knew it would be lost. Okay, there was a theory that Yves' story involves Oh gosh, time travel. So he just said he knew the location, he knew the time. So that's a good sign in that department. He also knew what would be lost.
しかし、万人は何もせず、
Oh, was it the
その
watchman?
悲
Oh,
劇の
that's
す
fine.
べてを
Anku
見
can
届けた。
watch, it's fine. Yet the watchman did nothing but look on as tragedy unfolded, all to
すべては
fulfill
あの
his
日の
promise
契
that
約
day.
を果たすため、
Ooh. Duty promise.
常に決まった笑みを貼り付ける乾ききった表情は、
His usual dry smile was ever present on his face.
赤き悲劇を見届けたその夜だけは、それは醜く
But on
歪
the
んでい
night
た。
of the tragedy, it warped into something truly hideous. Which reminds me, because this one didn't have a camera feature, I had to make a camera feature, and I made it different. She's over here now. There she is. I haven't finished modifying things on here, but I thought it was cute. Yves, ... A gentle smile, a gentle voice, a strong arm holding me, a large hand patting me on the head. Oh wait, did Yves have a family once? That's depressing. And a terribly sad smile that bloomed amid the black flowers of the garden. The image of my grandfather's smile still remained strong in my
ねえ
mind.
じいさま、
Grandpa?
どうしてこのリコリスのワージュたちはこんなに綺麗なのに国中の人から嫌われてるの？
So I'm pretty sure, and this makes perfect sense, that two different people translated this game, but they probably did the route specifically, because this is the second time that it said the Lycris Norigi are so pretty, whereas everything else is called these Lycris flowers. So the Lycris Norigi are so pretty. Why does everyone hate them? Each time I came here, I would trouble my grandfather by asking that question, time and time again. My grandfather usually responded with a gentle smile, but said nothing. For some reason, today was
理
different.
由ならお前も父さんや母さんから習っただろ？
You must have already heard from your mother and father.
このリコリスのワージュの花はただでさえ短い我々の寿命をさらに削り刈り取る災いの花であり、
This Lycris Norigi is known as the flower of misfortune that endanger our already short lives.
うん、それは知ってる。
Yep, I've heard that before.
だから父様も母様もこの花園が枯れればいいのにって毎日言ってるんだよね。
Which is why mom and dad keep saying that the garden should just wilt away already.
でもだから不思議なんだ。じいさまはどうしてそんなに嫌われている花を毎日俺に見せようと連れてくるの？
But that's why I'm confused. Why do you always show me flowers that everyone hates? Rude.
そうだな。
Let's see. Seeing me tilt my head in bewilderment, my grandfather closed his eyes and thought.
いいかイブ、私たちの血筋にはね、
Listen, Yves, it's because of our bloodline.
遠い昔に大事な友達から託された使命があるんだよ。
Ooh, I was given a mission by a very close friend of mine a long time ago.
使命？
A mission?
そう。自分の命よりも大切なものだ。もう少し大きくなったら、お前にも教えてやろう。
A mission more important than my life. Maybe I can tell you a little more once you're
イ
older.
ブ、私たちとは違い、災いの花すらも美しいと愛せる、お前のその純粋な心だけは、
Yves, unlike us, your pure heart allows you to see the flowers of misfortune as something beautiful.
どうか永遠に失わないでくれ。
I pray that you will keep your innocence forever.
お前のその愛
But
こ
with
そが、
23 years to live, you don't have very much
こ
time
の
to get
呪われ
too
た国
corrupted.
に必要なんだ。
Your love is what this cursed country needs. He's just like, what? Why did my grandfather smile at me so sadly? He did tell me more a few years later, but those crimson flames burned away the majority of my memory. Oh. Wait, does that mean Yves doesn't even remember saving me in the orphanage? In a country cursed by death, the regular loss of life was felt by all. The people accepted it as part of their daily existence. Now that Bourreau, whose sudden murder disrupted that flow, had died himself, the people were all somewhat more accepting of my presence. It didn't show as much hatred or disgust towards me as before, but they were still keeping their eyes on me, since there was no telling when a small tragedy could repeat. Now that things had settled down, I returned to my duties at the orphanage, helping Mother with daily chores. If I had to name one thing that changed after those incidents, it would be...
なあ、チビどもが引っこ抜いた雑草はどうすればいい？火を起
Hey,
こして燃やしちまうか？
hey Leah, what should we do with the weeds the kids pulled? Should we burn them? Huh? Oh, well, I don't think there's much to burn yet, so can you leave them in a pile next to the garden? Oh, make sure that you and the others don't get too close to the licorice flower bed.
んなの言われなくても分かってる。増えてもないのに勝手に増えるから迷惑だよな。
I
こ
enjoy
の
that
災いの花。
despite these flowers being dangerous and deadly and people aren't supposed to touch them, they manage to pop up in very convenient and well-placed places like a flower bed already. Like, you need to tell us, man, those flowers are such a pain growing all over the place. I know it's a bother, but we can't cut them down. We'll die the moment we try.
なら燃やして一掃できるんじゃねえの？
Then how about we burn them? That's a really bold thought, Milo. If we might die as a result, do you think it would be worth the risk? I was finally able to have these kind of casual chats with Milo and the other kids. Because death is repressing your murder emotion. Jean Brophy, the founder of the Reliver technology that supported this country, Dahat, who worked in research with him. Mathis, who sought revenge against Bourreau, his loyal butler Sheen, also known as Camille. While I had met many others, getting to know these people in particular must have given me the courage to make changes in life. Jean. Apart from the children here, I was also speaking a lot more with Lucas after his lessons at the orphanage. Yeah, I'm still not over if he's been in love with you for years that he didn't talk to you first. And the biggest change thus far had to be...
やあ、今日は天気もいいし、絶好の花壇手入れ日和だね。
Hey Lee, nice weather today. Perfect for tending to the garden, right? Hello Yves, you're looking very well today. A very kind handyman had been coming to see me quite frequently. Hugo wasn't with him today, but he had been accompanying Yves and playing with the children if they had time. Lucas. It's like just always narrowing your eyes when you say their names, like the bad neighbors in every cartoon. Ever since the incident, Yves often visits us to see how things were going. He didn't say it, but I felt he might be worried about me since I had witnessed so many horrors within a short period of time.
お、今日は子供たちも花壇の手入れを手伝ってるんだ。
So the kids are taking care of the flowers
いい
today?
なあ、賑やかで羨ましい。うちの花壇の手入れはいつも俺一人で寂しくやってるから。
I'm sort of envious seeing everyone having fun. I always have to take care of my garden all alone. Alone? Does that mean Hugo isn't great at taking care of the garden with you?
災いの花が群生してる花壇なんて、おぞましくて絶対に近づきたくないって。
He tells me he has no interest in intention of going anywhere near the flowers of misfortune. Oh. Egad.
だからって外観で唯一映えるのが
The only thing noticeable out front is the licorice flowers.
災いの花の群れってのは
大丈夫なんです。
Don't do
大丈夫、大
flashbacks.
丈夫。
These are flashbacks I'm familiar with. I suppose it does take some courage to walk past them.
そこまで嫌がるほどかな。結構美味しいのに。
I'm sorry, what? They're not so bad. I mean, they do taste great. Did you just say something? He smiled brightly and shook his head.
君も繁殖したリコリスに困ったらいつでも俺たちに頼ってね。子供たちがうっかり触れたら大変だろうから。
If you ever have problems with the lycrises, be sure to let us know. We don't want the kids touching them, you know. Yeah, I'll let you know if we need help. I was very friendly now that I could talk to my friend as comfortably and frequently as this. That said, I was a bit more worried than happy lately. Yves, I heard from Adolphe that you've been getting a lot of orders at Courrune ever since the incident. I'm worried about you spending your free time with me like this.
俺がこうして会いに来るの
Am I
迷惑？
bothering you? Not at all. I'm happy to see you come visit every day, but it still makes me wonder whether I'm taking up your time when you have more important things to do.
忙しいのは否定できないかな。今日も依頼からの帰りにこの施設へ寄ったわけだし。
I can't deny that I'm busy. I've only just wrapped up a job before coming over
で
today.
も俺だって別に単なる心配や親切で君に会いに来てるわけじゃないよ。
It's more suspicious when you say things like that. I'm not just visiting out of kindness or just because I'm worried.
友達になったばかりの君のことをもっとよく知って仲良くなりたいからこうして会いに来てるんだ。
The reason I'm visiting so often is because I want to know more about you now that we're friends.
言うなれば俺の勝手な都合と感情だから君に時間を奪われてるだなんて思ったこと一度だってない
In
よ。
other words, for my own selfish reasons, I've never once felt that you were taking up my time. Okay, I'm happy to hear that. I was certainly happy, but hearing him say it so casually and upfront gave me a ticklish feeling.
それに
And
今日ばかりは少し事情が違ってね。実は君に個人的な依頼があって話をしに来たんだ。
I also came for another reason today. I have a personal work order for you that I was hoping you'd accept. A work order? He wanted me to do something when he was able to handle anything and everything? Visiting the graves? Yves asked if I had some time now, so I invited him inside the orphanage for some tea. Yves took a sip, and the next thing he said was something I never expected. Huh?
この子をクルーンの一員として一時的に雇いたい？
You want to temporarily hire her as staff at Courrune? I blinked a number of times at his sudden request out of nowhere, which surprised both me and Mother. Yves, who was sitting in front of us, scratched his blushing cheek.
実は君がさっき言ってた通り
What you said earlier was absolutely
ブロ
true.
ーの件で名前が広がった影響か最近舞い込む依頼の量がかなり増えてきたんだ。
I guess that thing with Bourreau made me popular enough to get more work orders than I can handle.
以前は存在すら認識されてなかったシュリーやセルネボルからも依頼が舞い込むようになってきて。
In fact, I'm even getting orders from cherished and Courrune, places where my name wasn't known before. That's good then, right? Seeing Yves with a perplexed look on his face, I chose my words carefully. I could tell from his expression that being so busy might be both good and bad, at least at the moment.
それこそ最初はリライバー化の資金が貯まるって俺もヒューゴも喜んでたんだけど
At first, Hugo was really happy, saying he could make enough money to save for his Reliver fund,
依
but
頼が増えるにつれてだんだん最低限の家事や細かいお金の管理にまで支障が出てきちゃって
as we got more work orders, our general upkeep for the place, especially the bookkeeping side, took a hit. I couldn't help but feel sympathetic. It must be hard since it's only you and Hugo at
それ
Courrune.
で人手不足に陥った結
Is it
果、
Courrune,
この
Courrune?
子
I'm
を
trying
補
to
佐
say
と
it
し
the
て
way they
雇
did.
いたいと？
So you want to hire her for support to help manage what you can't handle.
はい彼女の家事能力には俺もあの共同生活の中でかなり助けられましたから
It's probably a monster. Yes, her ability to manage things really helped out when we all lived together during our operation. He also mentioned that he heard from Adolphe that I helped with bookkeeping for the orphanage. So Yves lowered his head and asked for help with the daily chores and bookkeeping at Courrune until things settled down.
ああ、もちろん、すべての家事を押し付けたり、無茶な依頼に付き合わせるつもりはありませんよ。俺とヒューゴも一緒に作業するつもりで
Of
す。
course, I'm not thinking of throwing all the chores at you. Hugo and I will help whenever we can.
あなたの人柄はよく知っているし、その点については全く心配していないけれど。
I know that you're a good person, so I'm not worried about that. But Mother looked at me as if to confirm my expression.
この子がクーネに行くならまだしも、長く働くとなると、周囲の人間がどう思うか。
Her helping you around Courrune is fine, but if she stays for a prolonged period, what will the other residents say? I see I'd love to help out, but if my being at your place makes you into a target for gossip.
女の子の噂話一つで左右されるような仕事をしてきたつもりはないよ。何かあったとしても、必ず守るって約束する。
I don't think rumors have much sway over my jobs, and if something did happen, I promise that I'll protect you.
それでも怖くなったらいつ辞めてくれてもいい。だからどうかな。
If there's anything
軽
that
く
ends
検
up
討するだけでも。
scaring you, you're free to quit anytime. How about it? Seeing Yves calmly and persistently convince us led me to a new question. Why? Why do you want to hire me of all people? There are a lot of others who can handle housework. People trust him too. I was sure that if he asked, there would be a lot of people who'd be willing to help. Even if we were friends, why would he want to hire someone known as Death? I really couldn't answer the question myself. I posed my question to Yves, at which point he crossed his arms and frowned in thought.
そうだね。そう聞かれると俺自身パッと思いつかないんだけど。
Let me see. Now that you ask, I'm not entirely sure why. It's like someone picked this route or something.
誰かに頼るってことを意識して真っ先に頭に思い浮かんだのが君の顔だったんだ。
I guess the reason is because when I thought about getting help, the first person who came to mind was you. Huh? Yves continued in a somewhat guilty
だから
tone.
悪いけど、どうしてとはっきり答えることはできない。単純な話、俺の思いつきだから。
I'm not sorry, so I'm sorry, but I don't have a clear-cut answer to your question. You just sort of popped up, I guess.
けど、考え直したところで、多分結果は変わらないと思う。
That said, even if I did put a lot of thought behind who I asked, the results probably wouldn't have
俺
changed.
は君がいい。君に助けてほしいんだ。
I want you to help me. Simple as that. Help me? Yeah, that's what he said. He's strong and kind and has a lot of friends, and he wants me to help him? He was personally asking me for help. No one's thought of me like this before. I lived my life as someone weak, someone who always had to rely on others for help. To be honest, I was beyond happy just to have Yves ask as a friend. As a friend, but I knew that I shouldn't get too deeply involved because I might bring him misfortune as death. I also knew I should convince him to ask someone else for help, but
で、断りづらい雰囲気にしてごめん。俺も無理強いしたいわけじゃないからね。
sorry for making it hard for you to refuse. I'm not trying to force you to help.
考えがまとまるまで、いくらでも待ってる。ゆっくり考えてみてよ。
I can wait as long as you need to make a decision, so take some time and let me know. As long as I need it. I was so grateful for his kindness in giving me the choice. Okay, but just remember your bookkeeping and your tidiness of your place is getting worse by the hour. Unable to bring myself to refuse his offer, I could only nod in acknowledgement. I mean, technically, your mom can say no for you. At that, Yves stood up from his seat. He then reminded me that I was free to refuse his offer before he departed for Courrune again.
返事を保留にしてしまってよかったの？本当はすぐにでも引き受けたかったんじゃ。
Are you sure you need more time? It seems you were just about to accept his offer. Mother inquired with concern as she picked up the teacups. Adolphe usually avoided associating with others, but he introduced Yves as a friend, showing how he trusted him. Which was probably why Mother hadn't tried to stop me from accepting the job offer. It also meant that Mother would happily agree with what I decided, whether I accepted or refused, but this isn't just about me. If I'm going to accept Yves' offer, then I need to make sure I'm mentally ready for it.
少し心配しすぎだと思うけれど。せっかくお友達ができたのだし、あなたはもっと外の世界に出るべきだと思うわ。
I think you're worrying too much. Your friend has come all this way out here for you, so you should go and see how he is too.
なんて、過保護にしてきた私が言うべきことではないかしら。
What am I saying? I'm not allowed to say so after being overly protective of you. Please don't say that, Mother. I was able to reunite with a very precious friend because you kept watch over me. Which was why, in order to protect my precious friend's life in turn, I had something very important to consider. He's almost died 3 times because of me.
司祭は語れないが、この国にはまだまだ死を招く花の種子が芽吹いている。
Oh, Anku.
この短い間に君が歩んだ奇跡は、所詮序章に過ぎないのさ。
Little you've experienced thus far is merely the prologue.
自ら命を絶つ異様な死も、
Death
この
is
国の
coming.
呪いにあるいは、まだ日向に何一つ解決。
Nothing has been resolved. Was I really safe? What did he mean when he said that to me? He's a very mischievous guy. It's hard to say. I wanted to at least to know the answer to those questions before I could give Yves my answer. Thus, I must walk into the Lycros field in the middle of the night tonight. After finishing dinner with the children, I calculated today's cost in my room as I thought about the ominous warning. Assuming what Anku said is true, how he's suppressing my powers as death, perhaps even now, we still haven't really solved the case of Bourreau and the mysterious suicides. Anku said so himself. But I remembered hearing that Bourreau didn't have any data backed up at the Institute, so he wouldn't be able to revive. So what did he mean back then? We don't know who Bourreau is. We don't know the cause of those unusual suicides. They were unsolved mysteries at this point. The little information we did have seemed to raise even more questions. The royal family's declaration that Bourreau's distributed drugs was just an assumption. And if those suicides were really the results of dangerous drugs, the same thing could potentially happen to those I knew. For example, someone like Yves who asked me for help. Yves is still with the corpse, and if I stay near him, I could help him and get access to information if something should happen. Of course, there was a concern that my presence would somehow negatively impact the lives of those in the corpse. But staying here silently wouldn't help, and if something bad were to happen, it would be too late to do anything about it. If so, after a few days of deep thinking, I finally came to a decision. Yves came to visit me again, and I let him know that I would like to accept his offer. Yves responded more enthusiastically than I expected.
本当に助かるよ。頼りない天使だけど、しばらくの間、よろしくね。
Blush, and you're a lifesaver, Lee. I may not be the most reliable, but I'll do my best from now on. That's right, he also does some pretty wild poses. Yes, I'll do my best to be of help to you, too. And if you're hiring me, should I call you something different? Like Monsieur Yves or boss or something?
柄じゃないし、今まで通りの呼び方でいいよ。クルーンには上下関係も何もないからね。
No need. Feel free to address me the same as always. There's no hierarchy at Courrune.
それに、せっかく友達になったのに、また他人行儀に戻っちゃうなんて、寂しいじゃないか。
So it'd be sad if you suddenly went back to addressing me like a stranger. Okay, well, I look forward to working with you, Yves. Yves seemed a little embarrassed and chuckled a little as he blushed. You're both blushing. Lucas, Later we talked to Mother and confirmed the conditions of my work with him. First, I should commute to his office instead of living there since I need to manage my work here and because of my curse. Second, he could take me along with him for work provided that I won't be going into danger. He was actually listed out a number of conditions, at which point I noticed every one of them prioritized my well-being of little benefit to Yves depending on work at hand. Mother repeatedly confirmed whether he was okay with the conditions he presented, but all he did was nod wholeheartedly.
その悪意があるよりずっといいのだけど、彼いいように利用されやすそうな性格で心配ね。
I have to admit, I admire the good in him, but I am worried that he's too generous and could be abused by others. I agree. I wonder if Yves is actually making any money in his work.
それを管理するのがあなたのお仕事ということでしょう。
I assume that's why he's hiring you to assist with his bookkeeping.
彼が
If
変な
at
依
the
頼
end of
人
the
に
day
騙
he
され
has
な
more
いよ
money
う
than he started,
し
he's
っかり見守っ
succeeding.
てあげなさい。
Leah, be sure to watch over him so that he isn't deceived by his clients. After making my decision and discussing the details, I find myself still worried. A few days later, my first day at work finally arrived. I avoided the busy streets of Cohen and proceeded through the suburban area with similar houses lining the road. Looked like Lucas's house, but okay.
久しぶり。もとい。改めてようこそ。俺たちクルーンの拠点へ。
It's been a
君
while.
と一緒に働けて嬉しい
But
よ。
welcome back to our home base of Courrune. I'm happy I can work with you again. Yves greeted me with open arms as he stood fearlessly next to the lycra's flower bed. You look really happy, Yves.
そりゃあね、開店してからずっと俺とヒューゴの二人きりだったから、一時的とはいえ、仲間が増えてくれるのが嬉しくて。
That's right, it's been just me and Hugo ever since I set up shop. I'm glad to have more friends here, even if it's just temporary. Huh? So you've never hired anyone else before? Ever?
一応過去に仲間は募集したんだけど、いろいろあって、みんな1ヶ月もしないうちに辞めちゃったんだよね。
I did hire others to help in the past, but they all quit within a month for various reasons. Within a month? Maybe the job was a poor fit for them, or maybe the nature of the work with handymen was too varied. Due to our short life expectancy, it wasn't common to see people change professions requiring different skill set. It wasn't because the country's laws, but rather because many were relivers. Once you become a reliver, you're pretty much set in your ways. You can't change. The process required them to create a clone as soon as they were able, which would be fixed in a state that would never age. What this meant was with their knowledge and abilities gained throughout their lives couldn't be changed or erased. For example, for a liver merchant who worked at the marché, changed professions and became a member of the corps, no matter how much training they underwent, their clone body was already fixed, so nothing would change, not even their build. Worse, their lack of fighting experience would carry over to their cloned body, so it was an uphill battle to hone their fighting skills. Ultimately, their experience as a merchant would become their calling due to it being the path of least resistance. Which was why there weren't many relivers around who could work multiple jobs. It was possible that Yves' work as a handyman was relied upon because no one else could do what he did. I thought perhaps the reason many quit so soon was because they couldn't keep up with the variety of work here. Which could also mean that Hugo must have gone through a lot to get used to working here since he's a reliver from cherished.
それよりほら、せっかく来たんだから、君がしばらく働く職場を紹介させて。
Now that you're here, why don't I show you around your new workplace?
外観はごく普通の民家だけど、その分内装には結構こだわってるんだ。
The outside may look like any other house, but I'm very particular about the inside. Yves smiled and tugged on his hands to bring me through the doorway as the lycra swayed in the gentle breeze. Oh, there's the pufferfish. There's the bunny. We got a closer view of this now. There's a box. He's got flowers pressed. 3 words. At least 6 books on a bookshelf. Spices in a box. Looked around to discover a number of dolls and figures, bringing to mind a certain thought about the room. It feels like a child's secret hideout.
アドルフを最初に招いた時にも、君と全く同じことを言ってた。
Adolf said the same thing when I first invited him
す
here.
ごいね。義理とはいえ、やっぱり二人は兄弟なんだ。
It's amazing, despite not being related by blood, you two really are like siblings. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to sound rude.
いや、全然。むしろそう見えるように整えてるから。理想的な反応で満足してる。
Not at all. On the contrary, I'm satisfied because it was exactly the idea I was going for.
俺、子供心をくすぐるようなものや雰囲気に弱くってさ、一度こだわり出したら止まらなくなっちゃって。
I'm really a sucker for things that bring out the child in me. Once I become obsessed with something, I can't stop. I see. I'm sure if the children at the orphanage were here, they'd be thrilled to explore the entire place. Yves looked around the room he was accustomed to seeing, then explained to me what his job at Courrune entailed. He mentioned it to me before, but this place was not only his workplace, but his home. Apparently, it was a shop he opened when he was 14 years old, just before he met Hugo.
活動時間は主に昼間。基本的に困っている人の依頼は、よほどのことがない限り断らずに引き受けるようにしてる。
We're mainly active during the daytime, except under special circumstances. All work orders are accepted to help people in need. He went on to explain that he carved out some time to work with Adolf at the corpse and was often sent to the slums to provide assistance. I quickly parsed through a notebook that Yves gave me, filled with information of the type of jobs done and their respective rewards. Some amounts were pocket change, while several others resulted in huge profits, making his revenue highly unstable. So the amount you earn depends a lot on the content of the work order. Huh, but I just noticed that you used to charge a set fee for any job you took on here when you first opened the business. Not only that, but the fee was really small.
ああ、もともとはここ、人助けをするためだけに開いたお店だったからね。
That's because I originally set up shop to help anyone in need.
自警団に入ればある程度のお金はもらえるし、お金にこだわるつもりはなかったんだよ。
I knew if I joined the corps I'd have a salary of sorts, so I wasn't too focused on money.
でも当時、仲間になったばかりのヒューゴがそれを知った途端。
That changed when Hugo joined and noticed how much I was charging for my services.
そんなんじゃリライバー化の資金もろくにたまらねえって叱り飛ばして、無理やり金額を引き上げさせたわけだ。
You can't save enough money to become a reliver at that rate, so I forced him to raise the prices for his services.
そうそう。彼に言われてようやく、無償の善意を引け目に感じたり、裏を読んじゃう人がいるって学んで、って。
That's right. I also learned from him that some people feel guilty getting favors done for free while others actually abuse. Before he could finish his sentence, someone came in through the door. Hugo!
よ、元気にしてたか？あの騒動では、あんたも巻き込まれて災難だったな。
Hey, how have you been? You must be going through a lot after getting dragged into all that mess. In came Hugo, who had been absent from Courrune for some time to handle another work order. Seeing that he hadn't changed since the last time I saw him, I breathed a sigh of relief. Is Hugo also going to turn out to be evil?
つか、こいつの突拍子もないわがままを本当に引き受けちまうとは思わなかった。
You should just raise your hand if you think
ちょっとお
everyone
人よしが過
is
ぎないか？
bad at some point. You know, I'm pretty surprised you actually accepted his random selfish offer. You're too nice for your own good, you know? It almost sounds like you're talking about Yves instead of me.
ま、それもそうか。
Well said.
けど知っての通り、こいつはいつ何をしでかすかわからない無茶なやつだからよ。愛想が尽きたらいつでも放り捨ててくれて
If this
構わ
is
な
the
いぜ。
conversations you have with new hires, no wonder people quit. As you know, this guy is really random and runs on instinct, so if you get fed up by his shenanigans, feel free to leave. Yves is a dear friend, so I would never abandon him like that.
だって。
Aw, he's blushing again. Yeah, tell him.
なんでお前が嬉しそうな顔してんだ？お前、初めて女のダチができたからって調子乗ってねえだろうな。
Why do you look so happy? You better not be full of yourself just because you made your first girl space friend. I couldn't help but smile at the two of them going at it like brothers. Good morning. How are you today? We continued and had a casual conversation with Hugo for a while longer. Later, at Yves' suggestion that I make myself comfortable, I decided to take a quick look around. Oh no, that's way too many options. About to start work, how about you? I don't have to go to work until later in the day, so I have some time to enjoy air. Then I'm gonna be sad again. And then I'm off tomorrow because it's a holiday. But that doesn't mean much. I'll probably just sleep in and play games. Alright, the place felt strangely large despite its appearance. And what especially caught my eye was the fishbowl. This one might not have any effects. I couldn't seem to take my eyes away from the pretty fishbowl filled with clear water. Oh, it's so cute! Oh yeah, I work today. Then I'm off for 4 days, but I get paid for tomorrow and Friday. What the heck? I want a job where I'm paid for 2 days of a holiday. Oh, you're right though. I probably get 8 hours this week for the holiday. I didn't even think about that. Hey, that means I get 48 hours this week. It is super cute. I moved closer to take a better look at and watched a single fish swimming lazily around inside. As a reminder, we ate that fish. It was quite plump and round, so I assumed Yves was taking good care of it. Even its eyes seemed to sparkle. I've seen this fish somewhere before, somewhat recently. The fish that almost killed the world.
答えろ。ゲテンアドル
It's
フ
not a
も知ってる
mystery. You were
あ、
there. I thought you put that fish back in the water. You found another one, though, that means. Don't tell me. Was this the same mystery fish that took down Adolf and the others that day?
あ、覚えてくれてたんだ。不思議と印象に残るよね。この子たちの姿って。
Are you buying anything for the Black Friday sale? Actually, I've already bought this one on sale for Black Friday and this one on sale for Black Friday, and they were both $17 each, so I bought them both. That's probably it. I don't really buy too much on Black Friday. I think there was one other game I wanted to get. I think Kirby was on sale for $30. Yeah, Virche Hana was 17-something, and Cupid Parasite was also 17-something. I'm probably going to play Cupid's Parasite on Valentine's Day, so in February. That's when I plan on playing that one. What's at Walmart that you're so excited for? I'm curious. I always buy pens. They had a box of, I don't know if you ever had a Sharpie S gel, but this is the best pen in the world. And this lovely guy came in a box of 20, I think, for $20, which is $2 a pen, which is a great idea. Hey, you remember it? Strange how this little guy tends to leave a lasting impression. That little guy? Oh no.
実はあの後、もう一匹海に打ち上げられてたのを拾ったから。
Went back and found another one after what happened that day. They have a Bluetooth Beat headphone, normally $350 down to $100. I wonder if that's the same one we saw at Target. There was one at Target that was down to $100, but when I read the reviews, everyone said they were small. I'm trying to get a Bluetooth over, like, I like headphones like these. Little earbuds that go in your ears annoy the crap out of me, and I just don't like them. But I want Bluetooth speakers for when we go to the gym, because right now I'm just suffering. I can hear the entire gym the whole time I'm there because I don't have headphones. Love over the ear headphones. Same. I also love them just because I can't stand the ones that go inside. I can't wear them. They fall out. I don't know how unique and special my ear lobes are, but they hate things. Went back, found another one after what happened that
アド
day.
ルフには内緒で、ここでこっそり育ててたんだ。
So I secretly raised that one there without letting Adolphe know. Oh, goodness. I bet it was because he planned on eating it. Buying mom's Christmas gift from Walmart. Is it gonna have a Yoshi on it? If anyone aside from Mathis found out, they would likely feel dread.
でもほら、どうせ食べるなら食べがいがある方がいいでしょ？
Hey, if we're going to eat it eventually, it might as well be worth eating, you know.
だからこうして俺なりに愛を注ぎながら大きくなるまで大事に
No, it's
育
a
ててるんだ。
cricket art and craft thing. Well, that works. She can make her own Yoshis then. That's why I'm giving it my love, so it grows nice and fat.
もちろん食べ頃になったら君やアドルフたちにもご馳走するからね。
Don't worry, I'll share it with you, Adolphe, and all the others too. The fish looks scared. It's actually jumping as if it wants someone to save it. Yves, no. Perhaps the fish reacted to Yves saying the word eat. Unfortunately, he was my new boss, so I doubted I could save this little fish. You can do whatever you want. You're 18 in a world where people die at 23. You're practically a senior citizen. Go free the fish. I continued looking around the house with Yves explained along the way until we finally came upon a large bookshelf.
ああ、ここには今までに俺たちが
Little
受けた
fish
依頼
eye
の記
will
録が
save you.
全部残してあるんだよ。
Ah, this is where we keep a record of all the requests we've ever received from clients until
リ
now.
ライバーとして延命した人が前回と同じ依頼をすることも珍しくはないからね。
This is important because some of our liver clients sometimes ask us to do the same work they already asked for.
参考資料としていつでも読み返せるようにこうして細かく記録を記してるんだ。
Which is why I have every bit of information I can record in these books so that I can go back to them when I need it. I see. He had clients' names, a sketch of their faces, and what was done from start to finish. The two of them explained to me how each record was written with as much detail as possible. Yves, Hugo, would it be alright if I looked through the books on this shelf?
それ
Why'd
は
the
もちろん
music stop at that request?
仕事の把握にもつながるだろうし
Sure, why
自由
not?
にどうぞ。
It'll help with the work here, so feel free to check them out.
つか、最初からそのつもりだったよな。なんでわざわざ確認なんて取るんだよ。
In fact, we showed them these so that to you oh my gosh, Hugo, I'm sorry, I can't read. In fact, we showed these to you because we want you to use them. No need to ask. Well, I wasn't sure how to say this.
さっきの言葉は依頼に応じて必要な記録を見たいじゃなくて
Listen, I am a detective now. Yves, I need things to research. I haven't finished Yves's route yet myself, so I'll just follow you right now and run away, but I hope you'll enjoy the game. It's awesome. I've been enjoying it so far, but it is definitely just a bunch of disheartening information again and again and again. But thank you for the follow. I don't know if this one gives me notifications when people follow me. Sheen, my husband. Sheen had the best route so far. Even his bad ending, I don't know, was forgivable. I'm down to this point where everyone's bad endings are just like the worst endings you could imagine. Leah, just to confirm, did you not mean you wanted to look at them when a new job came in?
仕事の合間にいつでも自由に見る許可が欲しい
But
って意味
rather,
で言ったんだよね。
is it okay to read through them on your own time? Yes.
事情を聞いても
May I ask why? I nodded silently. You two have been accepting a variety of work orders for various people in Courrune, so I was thinking maybe Bourreau or someone related to him could have been one of your clients. I figured it was worth a shot to check. Just what? Of course, it's only a slim possibility, since we don't know who Bourreau really is, even if he was in your records. It would be very difficult to find the right one. But it feels wrong somehow to just assume things are all over and forget about what happened. Still waiting for Sheen's salvation ending. Like, Mathis better be happy in his salvation ending. I mean, sometimes salvation in itself does not mean good. Just Lucas can go away. I don't care about Lucas. I care about Lucas's sister, and I don't think she deserved the end she had. In fact, I feel like Lucas's sister should have became a real lifer, and then her and Dahat could be together at some point when their ages make more sense. A couple lives from now. My poor baby. But it feels wrong somehow to just assume things are all over and forget about what happened. Also, I feel like this bookkeeping system sounds confusing. Please tell me that this is being kept in a binder of sorts where I can change the pages, and that way each page can add like a picture, a hospital document, how like, you know, it's alphabetical by like person's names. I just feel like maybe your notes could be reorganized. Hearing my idea, the two of them had surprised looks on their faces. I guess this was too random. I was supposed to come here and help Yves, but in reality, I was actually bothering him just as I was about to
言
apologize.
われてみれば、その可能性もないとは言い切れないね。
Now that you mention it, I suppose there is a possibility.
そうか？あの殺人鬼様がわざわざこんな小さい、しかも自警団の一員がやってる店にのこのこ現れるとは思えねえけ
How
ど。
would you know, Hugo? You're barely in any of this. I don't know. I doubt the killer would have come to a small operation managed by a member of the corps just to ask for help.
それもそうなんだけど、どうにも気になることがあるというか。
Yeah, well, there's something else that bothers
あ？
me. He tilted his head and thought. It's like that.
今思えば、ブローの彼、
Remember when we were chasing Bourreau? His voice got so
俺た
soft.
ちから逃げてる最中、路地の位置を完璧に把握しながら移動していた気がするんだよね。
When he was running from us, ducking through the alleys, it felt like he knew his way around really well. His words immediately jogged my memory. Come to think of it, he didn't hit any dead ends in the entire time before we caught up to him. I hadn't heard of any other incident apart from that one I stumbled on before.
まあ、事件の直前に下調べしたっていう可能性もあるけど。
Well, there's a chance that he did his homework and studied the town map or something, but
んな頻繁に路地へ出入りする人間がいたら、目撃者の一人か二人は出るだろう。
not many actually frequent the alleys, so I'm sure if he was lurking around ahead of time, he'd have been spotted.
だからこそ。
Yeah, which is why there's a chance Bourreau already knew Cohen well enough to navigate the alleys. He could have been a commoner, or at least posed as one. He may have even previously contacted Courrune. Does that seem likely?
断言はできないけどね。
Yes, but we can't say for sure just yet.
それが間違っていたとしても、選択肢を潰すという意味で、資料を第三者が読み返すのは悪いことじゃない。
Even if the assumption is
Okay.
wrong, it's still worth going through our records just in case. Yves and Hugo looked at me.
まあ、変死事件の方も結局は、自警団でも引き続き調査を進めてるからな。
Our corpse is still conducting the investigation into the mysterious suicide.
正直、ブローと絡めて調査するのもめんどくせえし、あんたが何らかの手がかりを得てくれれば、俺らとしても助かるか。
To be honest, investigating Bourreau at this time would be a pain, so we'd be grateful if Leah could find something. Hugo shrugged and continued. Listen, I'm just a girl that wants to sit in a kitchen surrounded by papers, creating a board of references with string attached to them constantly. All the theories. He said that, though it wasn't obvious, the corps weren't satisfied with the forced conclusion made by the royal family, so they were patrolling the marché every day under the belief that drugs or disease could be a possible factor. I'm so curious about the suicides myself, so what you're saying is... Yves nodded in response.
俺みたいな素人がまとめた資料でよければ、好きな時に読んでみて。
I'd be glad if you could look through them too, if you don't mind my sloppy writing.
ブローのことがわからなくても、クルーンの仕事を把握するのに、ちょうどいい資料になると思うから。
Even if there aren't any leads to Bourreau, the information should help you understand the work here at Courrune. Right. Thank you very much. I'll read over what you two have done and how you've helped people through your work. I'm looking forward to it.
その分、今の君がどんな女の子なのか、
I want to know more
そ
about
れ
the
を
kind
俺
of
に
girl
教
you
えて
are
ほしい。
now.
俺も、今の自分がどういう人間なのか、言動で伝えられるよ。
In the same way he said those words to me as a friend, I saw my friendship with Yves as something special and unique. I could do what I could to help him here at Courrune, just like he asked, and I would return the kindness he showed me in the past, present, and in the future. I made that vow deep in my heart in response to Yves' smile. And there's Hugo just standing here watching these two kids basically in blushy face mode. Yves went on to show me where he kept the safe and their store of inventory, how he did the books, and how to organize his materials. I then did some light cleaning with the help of Yves and Hugo so that we could bring in a desk where I could work. Immediately after, Courrune had its first job of the day, working with the corpse to help produce some material. In order to ensure that everyone wouldn't be surprised by my sudden presence, I decided to head out with Yves and Hugo to the church that was currently being used as a meeting place for the corpse. It was the same church where the Society of Exorcists sometimes held their gatherings to protest the use of reliver technology. At the unexpected appearance of death,
あれが数えきれないほどの死者を出したっていう死神の女か。
thank you, yes, it's me. Isn't that the same death who's killed countless people?
バカ、声がでけえよ。あいつはリーダーの妹だって聞いてるだろ。
Pipe down, you idiot. You know she's the leader's foster sister, right? I could feel the fear and confusion ripple through the church. The only exception to this was Adolphe, who was signing his men the rounds that they were to make. Corpse A, I got an eye on you.
悪いな。根はいい奴らなんだが。
Sorry, they're actually good guys, but I will hurt y'all. Okay, little scary there. Don't worry, I was the one who asked Yves to bring me here so that I could introduce myself. More than that, are you really okay with my looking into Bourreau? Knowing Adolphe, I expected him to try and discourage me from delving deeper. That's supposed to be scary? Okay, it worked.
過去の資料を読み解く程度で口やかましく言わねえよ。
I'm not gonna nag you about reading some records on a shelf.
いやいや、前はその程度のことでめちゃくちゃ言ってただろうが。過保護な兄貴役はもうやめたのか？
Hey, now you were kicking up a fuss over something similar last time, so are you done being protective of her?
過保護が過ぎたと自覚したから余計な干渉は控えてんだ。
It shows I'm more scary than other girls. Oh my gosh. I realized that I was being overprotective, which is why I'm not saying anything now.
それに、イブがこいつのそばにいるのなら、俺も安心でき
And
る。
I'm not worried since Yves is gonna be with her.
その信頼は嬉しいけど、ちょっと俺のこと買いかぶりすぎじゃない？
I appreciate the trust you have in me, but aren't you giving me too much credit? Adele spoke in a few words as possible, but I could tell he placed full trust in Yves just from the tone of his voice. What a strange and captivating sight. Adolphe had always kept himself only opening up to Mother and me, so how was Yves able to build such a strong friendship with him? I'm a villain? I don't know if an Anya emote really makes me believe that. How was Yves able to build such a strong friendship with him? I wonder, maybe they have the same thing, they both like you. He befriended the brother. Oh, okay. That just seems weird. He befriended the brother even I didn't fully know. As questions continued to arise in my mind, I looked at Eve's gentle face. Our eyes suddenly met. Eye contact. I can't. I quickly turned my head, embarrassed that he found out had been staring at him. Suddenly,
ちょっと待ってくれよ、リーダー。その子がクルーンで働くこと自体はもう知ってたし、別にいいんだけどよ。
I'm a villain. Okay, that one does look like I don't know who that character is, but I believe that one. Wait a minute, leader. We knew that she was going to work at Courrune, so that's fine.
やっ
But
ぱり自警団の活動にまでその
she's
子
already
を
involved
関
in
わ
the
らせる
corpse
のは
business.
その
Having her involved in the corpse business is, you know.
やめさせろ。
You want her out? The man, obviously flustered, as well as those around us, nodded in agreement.
それ、どう
What
いう
the
こ
heck?
と？数日前に俺が説明した時は、彼女の事情を把握した上で、全員快くうなずいてくれたよね。
I explained this to everyone a few days ago, and you all wholeheartedly agreed with her being here, knowing who she was,
こ
right?
れで二人の負担が減って、自警団の活動に力を注げるならって。
The idea was that her joining us would help reduce the load and let the corpse focus.
それは
Well,
ああ、反対意見なんて一つもなかったはずだ。だってのに、今更になって覆すとか、いくらなんでも、都合が良すぎるんじゃねえの。
yeah, don't you guys think it's pretty low to renege on something you didn't voice your complaints about before? Don't renege.
アドルフを前に根性座ってんな、お前ら。まあ、陰口叩くクーネの連中よりかは、ずっとマシだけどよ。
I gotta at least hand it to you for having the balls to be up front with the dolph instead of gossiping like the rest of Cohen. Go, Hugo.
アドルフの大切な妹ってのは分かってる。それでも怖いもんは怖いんだから仕方ないだろ。
Thank you, Hugo. We understand that she's your sister, Adolph, but we can't help the fact that we're still freaked out by her.
そうだよ。実際お前が住んでたあの施設でも体調を崩したやつが大勢いるって話じゃないか。
He's right. I heard that a lot of kids at the orphanage you used to live at got sick because of her. Wait, what? That you used to live at was that who are you talking to? Corpse A, you shouldn't agree in the first place.
俺らはまだリライバーにもなれねえし、何かあったらなあ。
We start ready to be relivers, so if something
本
happens.
当にそれだけが理由か。
Is that really the only reason?
いや、あとはほら、いざ本物を目の前にすると、やっぱ
Well, you know,
こいつ
seeing her in person is scary. Sorry. Like, she's just this frail girl, like, wearing bondage. She's so scary. I was too far away to hear the last part properly, but at the very least, I knew that they were all afraid of me. At that, Hugo let out a heavy sigh. Yves was mumbling to himself, thinking of how he could convince them again. I could tell them that the Watchman of Death was suppressing my powers, so it was safe. Then again, I highly doubted anyone believed any of that. Plus, IDK, maybe talking about the Watchman of Death might sound like I really am involved in death. Still, I knew that I needed to say something. I couldn't keep relying on the others. Just as I was about to apologize to everyone for suddenly coming here and scaring them.
こいつは死神なんかじゃない。ただの人間の女だ。
She isn't death, she's just a normal human girl. Adolph's bold voice forcefully silenced everyone's confusion.
なんて叱り飛ばしたところで、お前らの不安を払拭できねえことぐらい、俺も理解してる。
No matter how many times I say it, I know it won't do anything to alleviate your fears.
だが、その代わりに、
So think of it in these terms.
こいつを認めることで、ある危険から命を守れると言ったらどうする？
What if accepting her protects us from certain dangers lurking around us?
え
If y'all are scared of her, then y'all are cowards. Yeah, and if you're cowards, I don't want you protecting me anyways.
いいか。こいつはな、施設の職員として運営者から直々に家事の手ほどきを受けている。
Listen carefully. Leah works at the orphanage every day and handles the chores there, meaning
単純に料理がうまい。使う材料も至って普通のものばかりだ。
the meals she prepares taste great. She can cook dishes out of any ordinary ingredients.
ここまで言えばわかるな。お前らがこいつを受け入れてくれた暁には。
I don't have to say more, do I? If you guys accept her and allow her into our group, you don't have to deal with Yves's cooking anymore. Is that what I'm
夜食
hearing?
の調理当番からイブを外し、代わりにまともな料理を作れるこいつを入れてやる。
I can remove Yves from handling dinner and have Lee cook something far better for us instead. Huh? Did I hear him correctly?
え
Huh? Seemed Yves thought the same thing I did. Hugo was doing his best to stifle his laughter while the members of the corpse mumbled in a different way from before. Hold on.
イブのあの殺人料理を定期的に食べずに済む。
Does that mean we don't have to eat Yves' horrible
魅力的
cooking?
だな。
That changes the situation completely. Sorry, Yves, but your food is terrible.
けどさ、その料理にだって死神の呪いがかかってるんじゃ。
Yeah, but don't her meals curse everyone who eats them?
いや、どのみちこのままじゃ、イブの料理で死ぬ方が先になるだろう。
Yeah, but we're doomed if we have to eat what Yves makes. So they all turned and looked at me from a distance then.
さっきは悪かった。
Sorry about earlier.
ちゃんとあんたのことを認めるから、美味しい、いや、安全な料理をどうか俺たちに食わしてくれ。
Crispy, the boys all ate her food, you fools. We're happy you're here, so please make some delicious. No, please make us something safe to eat. Before long, everyone heartily welcomed me into the group. I'm not sure I feel right about all this. I glanced to my side, and as expected,
みんなして、そこまで言うことないじゃないか。
you guys don't have to be so cruel.
俺はただ、みんなに喜んでもらおうと、美味しい料理を作ろうとしていただけなのに。
I was just trying my best to make something good that everyone could enjoy for dinner. Praise his creativity, suggest new ingredients, offer to sample his dish. Seeing Yves utterly disappointed. I do realize that this only let me pick one of the choices, so I don't know. Also, this is the second time I've had more than one choice on his, and that gives me a fear. Praise his creativity. Yves, I think you were really creative when it comes to cooking. Remember the way you sliced the fish before? The cuts were sliced so thin that they were like glass.
ありがとう。見た目だけでも気に入ってもらえてよかったよ。
Dude, gotta try somewhere. Thanks, I'm glad at least the way my dishes look is good. Our conversation slowly shifted away from what was supposed to be my ability to cause misfortune to others. Still, this feels so nice. I whispered to Yves, seeing him still glum after hearing everyone's comments. Even the rumors about me can turn into fun conversation with you and the others. I never thought I'd hear the topic shift from my curse to what someone's cooking tastes like.
君がそんな風に笑ってくれるなら、俺もからかわれた甲斐があったかな。
I guess me being the butt of the joke was worth it to see you laugh like this.
でもいずれは、君から調理当番を奪い返すつもりでいるから、そのつもりでいてね。
But let me tell you that I intend to reclaim my position as the resident chef. He issued his challenge with such a friendly smile. I was filled with joy and relief knowing that he really did see me as his friend. Still, I wonder why Yves... Finish your thought. I'm your internal monologue. Explain me to me. I wonder why Yves is so caring towards me. Why he looks after me like this. I mean, you guys did actually grow up together. He was your foster brother before Adolphe was your foster brother when you think about it. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he actually hated me for what happened. He came and saved your butt in that fire. You're alive because he wouldn't let you die. Which could totally happen if he could time travel. After Yves and Hugo escorted me back, I returned to my room. I sat on my bed and remembered the kind words Yves said before. Each time I experienced his kindness, I felt like I was under-deserving accepting it and forgetting how I injured him in the past. I'm So horrible. You didn't intend on hurting anybody ever.
過去を振り返って、君に得られるものがあるならそれでいい。でも、
Also, I do recall in
ただ傷つくだけじゃ意味がない。
his choice when I said, yeah, let's be friends, it did a weird, like, the glitchy thing. So I don't know if I might have to, like, go back to that choice alone and redo that option before I do his storyline for the next playthrough. I don't know. If there's something to be gained by looking back at the past, it's fine, but it's no good if it only ends up hurting you.
だから答え合わせは先延ばしにして、互いに勇気を持てたいつかにしよう。
How about we save it for another day? That's right. I can't just rely on Yves' kindness. I need to do better myself. I wouldn't even be able to fulfill that promise if I didn't overcome my cowardice. I need to nurture what little courage I have left through my work at Courrune.
その分、今の君がどんな女の子なのか、
I want to know
そ
more
れを
about
俺
the
に
girl
教
in
え、
front
俺
of
も
me.
今の自分が
I want to do best to show you that I am a different person than the person you met. That promise. I need to confront the past and apologize. And if possible, I want to fulfill my contract with Anku and face Yves with confidence. Facing Yves with confidence as a real woman. Oops, human being, not woman. She's still a girl. I want to become a true friend he can be proud of, but I couldn't say that with confidence, not just yet. I'm still a coward. Is Anku gonna wake you up in the middle of your sleep?
そうか。彼女は彼の隣にいることを選んだか。
I see. So she chose to be by his side.
ならば、私には何の憂いもない。
If so, there's nothing to worry about.
だが、そうだな。
That said,
使命のためとはいえ、礼の一言さえ彼に送ることができないとは。
even if it is fate, she can't even say a single word of thanks to him.
いささか虚しいものだね。
It's a shame, isn't it? The next day. Interesting. I headed right to Courrune, where I found and greeted Yves and Hugo. Mid-morning was spent mostly on getting rid of all the dust in the rooms. Afterwards, I went over their bookkeeping since they hadn't had much of a chance to go through it yet. The work orders for today was a job I could accompany them to, so reviewing old client records would probably begin tomorrow. We stepped outside and got ready to part ways with Hugo near the marché since he had another work order to take care of. Since this was my first time going out on a job, I would just be observing Yves and helping out if the opportunity arose.
イブ、分かってると思うが、いつもの調子で彼女を振り回すんじゃねえぞ。
Yves, I don't need to remind you, but you'd better not get her involved in your usual mess.
万が一にも怪我なんてさせてみろ。剣を抜いたアドルフがリコリスの花畑まで追いかけてくるだろうからな。
If she gets hurt, Adolphe is going to chase you after you, sword in hand, all the way to the Lycris field.
俺もリライバーになるまでは死にたくないから、肝に銘じとくよ。
I don't want to die until I'm ready to be a reliver, so I'll keep that in mind.
そういうヒューゴこそ、巻き割りの最中にまた腰を痛めないよう気をつけてね。
And a fair warning to you, Hugo, be careful not to hurt your back when you chop that firewood.
うっせえ、あんな情けねえ姿、もう二度と見せねえよ。
Shut up. I'm never making a fool of myself like that again. After exchanging playful concerns with one another, Hugo walked away towards the east side of the district. With him out of sight, Yves and I finally turned and went to see our client for today. From what you said earlier, I take it you're planning on becoming a reliver?
意外だった？
Does that surprise you? I shook my head in response. It's just that there are a lot of others who aren't very fond of the technology, like the Society of the Exorcist.
そうだね。こればかりは。
Really?
よー、イブ。この間落とした財布を探すの手伝ってくれてありがとな。
Hey Yves, thanks for helping me find my wallet
お
last
前が
time.
見つけてくれなかったらしばらく飯も食えなくなるところだったよ。
If you didn't find it for me, I would have been completely broke. Obviously.
ああ、どういたしまして。また水路に落とさないよう、今度はちゃんと懐に入れて持ち歩きなよ。
Yeah, no problem at all. Just make sure it's secure in your pocket whenever you cross the waterway.
こればかりはね、感情と命、どちらを優先するかは人それぞれ。
That's what it's all about, which is more invaluable, emotions or life itself.
どの選択が正解かなんて、誰にも決めつける権利はない。
No one has the right to decide which one is valuable. Value more.
イブ兄ちゃんだ。この間は一緒に自警団ごっこしてくれてありがとう。
Oh my god. He's too nice. We gotta ruin this guy. It's Yves. Thank you for playing pretend corpse with me.
今度は私たちと一緒にお姫様とこの絵ごっこして遊びま
Next
しょ
time, let's play pretend princesses night, okay?
わかった。じゃあその時はヒューゴも誘っておくよ。かわいいお姫様。
Sure thing. I'll invite Hugo to serve you, my dear princess.
ないよね。ただ俺の場合、普通の延命とは少し事情が違って。
In my case, the situation's a little different from
う。ちょっとイブ、
prostitute D. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We have met so many prostitutes now. There you are, Yves. My
私がお
concerns?
金を貸した娼婦の友達が数日前に行方をくらましてから姿を見せないんだけど、
I lent some money to one of the other girls a few days ago, but I haven't seen her
その
since.
似顔絵に描かれてる子、あんた知らない？
You wouldn't have seen someone that looks like this sketch, have you?
ごめん。知らない子だな。うちを利用したこともないと思
Let's see. Sorry, I haven't seen her. She doesn't look like anyone I've worked
う。
for.
よかったら俺とヒューゴで探してみようか。
If you like, should Hugo and I track her down for
大
you?
した金額じゃないし、わざわざいいわよ。
Don't worry, it's not a lot of money.
今のあんたにこんな儲けのない依頼を引き受けてる暇があるとは思えないし、
And I bet you don't have time to handle a cheap job like this.
君が本当に困ってるなら、暇なんていくらでも作る。
I can make time for you if you're really in trouble.
俺は儲けなんかより、友人である君たちの方がよっぽど大切だからね。
It's more important to me to help friends like you than profit off of situation prostitution, D. Wait, why don't you give them names?
前にヒューゴも言ってたけど、あんたってほんとそういうところ。
No, I've told Hugo this before, but you really are.
イブ、前回井戸を修理してくれたあれだ。うちの妹が焼いた菓子持ってってくれよ。
Yves, here's a little something for fixing my well. They're cooking my sister baked.
イ
Man,
ブ、うちの店で暴れた酔っ払い客、追い払ってくれてありがとう。
walks through the street like Belle does at the beginning of Beauty and the Beast, but instead of everyone talking about how weird, they're like singing his praise the whole time, and he's just overwhelmed. Thank you so much for taking care of the drunkard at my store.
イブ兄ちゃん、水路で使ってる小舟が壊れたから依頼したいってさっき父
Yves,
さんが
my
言って
dad want you to
た。
help fix the boat in the
私のお
waterway.
姉ちゃんはヒューゴさんと一緒に子供を一日預かってほしいって。
My sister wants you and Hugo to watch her kids for a day.
はい。喜んでお引き受けします。
Sure, I'm more than happy to help.
詳しい話を聞きたいから、後で俺の店に来るように伝えておいてくれる？
I need to get a few more details, so you can please tell them to come see me at the shop later. Hi! Okay! I had heard through rumors how trustworthy and dependable Yves and Hugo were, but not to this extent. Still, I could vaguely sense displeasure and doubt mixed in with the goodwill the crowd expressed. Why was death with Yves? Just as things were settling down, was she now planning on cursing him to death? The girl with blood-stained hands had no right to stand beside him. Had she forgotten what she did to him? Not only was I used to such whispers, I also had no right to be hurt by them because they were completely true. I wasn't sure whether Yves could tell that some of the people around us were staring at me with suspicion, but After he spoke with those around him, he turned his attentions to me. Then, with a calm, stepped forward to close the distance.
何度も話を切っちゃってごめん。確かリライバー化についての話をしてたっけ？
Sorry about the interruption. We were talking about becoming a reliver, right? Yves tried to continue our conversation.
君は将来リライバーになるかもう決めてるの？
Have you decided whether you want to become a reliver or not? No, not yet. I'm still thinking about it. I stammered a bit, nervous by how close he was. I've been saving money just in case, but to be honest, I had no intention of reviving myself and was instead planning on giving my money to Mother if something happened to me. But with my conversation with Anku returning to mind, I couldn't bring myself to speak honestly about it with Yves.
もしリライバー化を決めたときは早めに行動を起こした方がいいよ。
If you do decide to become a reliver, you should move quickly.
必要なお金を用意してもバックアップの順番待ちしている間に死んだら元も子もないからね。
After all, even with the right amount of money, you could die while you're still on the wait list to get backed up. With that, he set off down the road. The whispers around us continued as usual. Yves gave no indication that he was bothered by them, walking as though nothing was amiss.
なあ、イブ。お前が連れてるその女って。
Yves, that girl with you. Oh, that reminded me. I was debating. Since my other program was so big, I'm gonna see if I do this. If my... Because the way I can't move my camera, the cord, pretty much it taps out right here. But I always have my camera on this side, so I'm always looking this way. So I'm gonna see if this looks different in my playbacks. Because I'm trying to be a better streamer, and I'm doing things my friends suggest doing, which is to make clips and post clips. And I actually don't usually rewatch my videos at all. And so now that I am, I'm like, oh man, I feel like I look down too much. So I was like, maybe if I move the camera to where it looks like I'm looking more towards the camera, it might be different. All right, we'll see. We'll see. All right, that girl with you.
俺の新しい友達。しばらく一緒に働いてくれることになったんだ。
Oh, she's my new friend. She's going to be helping me at work for a while. Despite their doubts and fears, Yves responded in his usual cheerful way. I was actually walking through the crowds at Courrune without keeping my head down. This might be a first. I just realized I'm like sitting half on this blanket. Others gathered around Yves to express their thanks as we made our way through, though they were anxious about seeing me with him. I followed him as he cheerfully walked to see his client. Oh. The first work order on my life that I would be assigned with was... Is it a bird? Ah, over there! Look, there, Yves. There's a bird with pretty feathers perched on top of the church steeple. Actually, it looks like it can't fly down. We were here to locate and capture a young man's pet bird, which was escaped from its cage. We interviewed residents at the neighborhood, and many of them reported that a bird of its description was seen around the church. So after we dashed here, as fast as we could, we discovered the bird mostly unmoving. I suppose we were lucky that it didn't fly out of the country, but...
あれは自力で降りれそうにないね。
I don't think it can come down on its own.
依頼主によると、生まれてからずっと室内で飼っていた子らしいから、飛ぶこと自体に慣れてないんじゃないかな。
The owner did say that he kept the bird inside ever since it hatched, so maybe it's not used to flying. In that case...
登って迎えに行ってあげるのが一番安全かな。
It's probably best that I get up there and bring it down. Yves rolled up his sleeves and did some quick stretches. At Yves' direction, I quickly got approval from the priest of the church and borrowed an old ladder. We took the staircase up to the spire. With the ladder propped against the wall, I held it sturdy so that it would stay in place. Yves leaned slightly out the window and stood on the ladder to make sure it was stable.
これならいけるか。それじゃあ早速、迷子の小鳥さんを救ってくるよ。
Alright, this should do. Now it's time to rescue a lost little birdie.
俺の体重に耐えられなくなったら、すぐにはしごから手を離してね。君まで一緒に落ちちゃうから。
Okay, but if you can't keep the ladder in place, make sure you let go right away, otherwise you could get really hurt. Yves said so as if it was the only natural, despite a thin rope being his only lifeline. No, I won't let go. I promised you go that I'd support you no matter what.
それもそっか。それじゃあ少しだけ、俺の無茶に付き合ってくれる？
You did, didn't you? Well then I'm counting on you to help me through this. Yes, absolutely. On our way up the steeple, a crowd had gathered around the base of the church after having gotten word about it. Yves was preparing to climb up, tying the single thin rope around himself. He stepped onto the ladder and I held it in place with all my might. My arms went tense as I felt his weight shaking it with each step. But I managed to hold it together and nodded to Yves, who looked back at me with concern. He gave me a reassuring nod in response, then quickly went up the ladder before my arms could give away. He used his hands and feet to climb up the wall using whatever holds he could find. This is dangerous. A strong wind blew from the ocean as if to get in his way, but Yves simply tightened his grip and kept his body flush against the wall. Good, just a little closer. The crowd cheered on and my heart wrenched in suspense. He forcefully pulled himself up to the top and landed on a flat area safe and sound. How's the bird doing?
少し怯えてるみたい。君から預かった餌を使ってみるよ。
Looks scared. I'll use the feed you prepared. I leaned as far out as I could to see Yves. He took out a small pouch from his pocket, then poured a bit into his hand and stretched it towards the bird.
ほら、おいで。俺は君のご主人様の友達だから。
Come, little
怖がら
birdie.
なくて大丈夫だよ。
I'm a friend of your owner. No need to be scared. Perhaps it was hungry, as it quickly turned its attention towards the feed. The bird cautiously approached the outstretched hand full of minced vegetables. After giving the bird a moment to peck away at its lunch.
捕まえた。
Gotcha! Yves carefully and gently cradled the bird in his hands. Should be one hand if you want to be able to get down. Thank goodness, I was worried that you'd lose your balance. I let out a sigh of relief so deep that it seemed to let all the air out of my lungs. The crowd began to rejoice. But my relief was short-lived. I gripped the ladder tightly again so that Yves could come down safely. Suddenly, there was an unsettling sound. I immediately looked up at Yves. A portion of the roof he was using as a foothold broke apart. Huh? Before I could do anything, I was too late. My eyes met Yves as he slipped and fell down. Yves! I grabbed onto his lifeline, but I couldn't stop him from falling. Yves braced for impact in a way that protected the little bird instead of himself. And Yves died. Dang. He sank straight through the old roof, disappearing into darkness of the hole he created. That's
びっくりした。俺の立ってるところだけこんなに崩れるなんて。
That was scary. I never expected the roof to give way like that.
君に怪我はない？自慢の翼が折れてたら、飼い主が泣いて悲しむかも。
Are you hurt? Your owner will be sad if your precious wings are broken. My guy, you are covered in blood.
お久しぶりです。
It's been a while, Yves.
こんな形で生徒と再会するとは、さすがに私も予想していませんでした。
Encountering a former student in this way is certainly a surprise.
リュカ先生、どうしてここに？
Lucas, what are you doing here? He says, dripping blood on the floor.
そっか。今日は礼拝日だったんですね。
Oh wait, you must be here to pray.
ええ、天へ祈りを捧げていたところ、その天からイブ君が落下してきた次第
Were
で。
you praying for a man in your life? Because I don't know those two things. Cool. I don't know. I'm just saying. It just so happens that you fell from the heavens just as I was praying to them.
俺じゃ先生に加護も祝福もあげることができませんね。
Unfortunately, I don't think I'm the answer to anyone's prayers.
今ならカプシーヌ先生の気持ちが
I think I now
理
understand
解
how
でき
Dr.
るような気
Capuchin
がし
felt.
ます。
Felt about what? Lucas pinched his brows together as blood dripped from the cheerful Yves' head. All I could do was stand there in a stupor at the sight of Yves joking despite his
すみ
wounds.
ません。この傷ではお説教をする前に貧血で倒れてしまいそうなので、
I'm sorry, Leah. I don't think I have it in me to give him a stern lecture with all that blood.
まずは手当てを先にしてもらっても。
Do you mind tending to his wounds first? Right, Yves, would you mind parting the hair from your forehead so I can check? Yves nodded in agreement. He walked to an open seat to sit down and parted his hair for me. I needed to see how deep his wound was, so I wiped away the blood from his head. Seeing my fingertips covered in his blood, Yves' brow curved into an apologetic way.
せっかくの初仕事なのに、手間をかけてごめんね。
I'm sorry for causing you trouble so soon after you started. It's fine. Well, not fine for you, but I'm glad you aren't too badly injured. I stared at Yves' blood, then looked up and down. His clothes were covered in dust. It wasn't a short fall. His hair was hiding a wound, some not so small. Yet he showed no signs of distress, and it didn't look like he was in pain either. Back when we had fought Bourreau, he swung his sword valiantly and without fear. It seemed he was just good with pain, but just watching him bear his wounds like that was hurting me. Yves. Yeah? I'm right about you. I voiced my honest thought as I wiped away the blood. As if he didn't expect to hear it from me, Yves stared with his mouth slightly open. Lucas let out another deep sigh as Yves' reaction, then left the room to wash the bloody rags. Yves, I know I'm useless, but that doesn't mean I'll just sit around and watch as a dear friend gets hurt. I understand you may need to put yourself in harm's way for certain work orders, just like with the corpse, but please at least allow yourself to say it hurts when you're in pain. Of course, I'll take care of you regardless, but saying that it hurts can help ease the pain too.
ありがと
Okay, thanks.
う。でも、自分のことを無力だなんて言わないでほしいな。
I guess that's a fair argument. In exchange, I don't want you to say that you're useless.
君が命綱を引っ張ってくれていたから、落下時の勢いを少し殺すことができたんだよ。
You do know that the fall wasn't as bad as it could have been because you pulled on the lifeline, right? Really? Well, I'm glad to know that I could be of some help. As we continue to have our open chat, the bird we caught flew above us in circles, chirping as though it was worried too. So we're saying it can fly. Now we gotta catch it again. A short while later, I thanked Lucas for the salve and bandages he provided. After a short check, we found out that the roof was rotting, which led to the break. We decided that we would talk with the corpse later to see if we could work together to get the roof fixed. We then returned the bird to its family and headed back to Courrune. Along the way, Yves was stopped again by the townsfolk and...
小鳥探しの件、聞きました。大した怪我じゃなくて、よ
I
かっ
heard
たで
about
す。
what happened. I'm just glad that you weren't badly hurt.
教会に僕の方からも寄付を出しますので、もし修繕費に困っていたら、そのお金を使ってください。
Mathis, your sweet little innocent baby. I'll make a donation to the church, so if you need any funds, please feel free to use that money. Hey, Mocha. How are you?
たまには外出をと、坊ちゃんを買い物へと引きずり出して正解でしたね。
I suppose I made the right call in dragging the master outside for some shopping.
立ち寄ったマルシェは、イブさんのご活躍と、あなたのお話で持ちきりでしたよ。
Just so you know, the marché was abuzz with the talk of Yves' adventure as well as yours. Not just Yves, but me too?
無茶ばかりするイブさんが、おとなしく死神に説教された。
Everyone was surprised that the reckless Yves actually listened to death without putting up a fight. Everyone was surprised that the reckless Yves actually listened to death. I mean, if you just look at those words alone, it makes perfect sense, honestly. Yves, don't tell me this isn't the first time something like this has happened.
初めてではないけど、そんな頻繁に怪我してるわけでもないよ。
It
多分
definitely isn't the first, but it's not like I get injured often, I think.
でも僕、クーネの皆さんが普通にあなたの名前を出していたこと、嬉しかったです。
But I'm happy to hear that people in Courrune are actually talking about you.
ブローも死にましたから。この調子で偏見や
Actually,
誤解
wait,
が解
that's
けると
true. Mathis
い
is
いで
out
す
and
ね。
about like nothing's a matter right now. Nothing's amiss. With Bourreau gone, hopefully it'll clear up some of the misunderstandings and prejudice against you. I hope so too. Thank you very much, Mathis. Mathis smiled at me gently, considering my peace of mind first, even though he must still be coming to terms with the death of his brother's killer.
事件が解決したからと、せっかくの縁が途切れてしまうのも惜しい。
It's quite a waste to end this friendship simply because the incident has been resolved.
イブさんや皆さんとは、今後も良き交流を続けさせていただけると嬉しいですね。
I would be happy if we could all continue having a good relationship like this.
喜んで。機会があればぜひ、クルーンのお店まで遊びに来てよ。
Absolutely. Come by Courrune anytime, even for just a friendly chat.
はい。楽しみにしてます。
Okay, I'll come by one day. Jean, no, Camille. Oh goodness, the danger. After being stopped on our way back, we returned later than expected. You were stopped on your way there and on your way back. It's
注意
hard
し
being
て
a
から
hero.
一日も経たねえうちに、早速振り回し
You
てんじゃね
idiot,
え
I
よ、バカ。
cannot believe you already dragged her into your shenanigans. Hugo returned before us, having heard what happened earlier. He hit Yves with a stern hand chop around, away from his wounds.
さすがに反省してます。けどまさか、小鳥探しであんな大騒ぎになるなんて。
Yeah, I'm sorry. I never expected looking for a bird would cause so much commotion. I'm just glad the roofing didn't crumble where the people were. Of course, that didn't mean I was glad that Yves was the only one hurt. I looked at him to see if he was still doing all right. Yves, the bandage on your hand is falling off.
ああ、本当だ。せっかく君が丁寧に手当てしてくれたのに。
Oh, you're right. After I did so much work to patch you up. I said that backwards. I can wrap your hand again.
それじゃあお言葉に甘えて。新しい包帯を持ってくるから少し待ってて。
If you don't mind, then I'll get some new bandages to hang on. Just a moment. And with that, Yves quickly headed to the back. He loosened his loose bandage, fluttering along the way.
悪いな、こんな遅くまで。大方、あいつの人吉のせいで余計な道草食ったってとこだろ。
Sorry to keep you here for so long. I bet you guys took a while to get back because of all of his friendly chit-chat. Yes, but it was a great opportunity to learn how much everyone likes Yves.
慕われてる。ね。まあ、間違っちゃいないんだが。
Hugo, who's jaded. Likes, huh? Well, that's true, but...
あんま、イブのことを盲目的に信じるなよ。あいつはあんたが思ってるような人間じゃない。
Don't believe everything you see or hear about Yves. He's not the kind of person you might think he is. Huh? I never thought I would hear such a thing from Yves' own partner. After a short silence, Hugo shrugged as if to say he didn't matter.
イブは見ての通り、典型的なお人よしだ。信じるなとは言ったが、その点に裏はねえ。
As much as you can see, Yves is what you would call a goody two-shoes. That much is true.
相棒としてのひいき目を抜きにしても、あいつはこの国で一番信頼できる前世の持ち主と断言できる。
Even if I wasn't his partner, I would say he was the most good-natured, trustworthy guy in the country. Then what do you mean earlier?
前世が過ぎるあまり、あいつ一周回ってバカになってんだよ。
He's too nice. That you can also say that he's just plain stupid.
誰かを助けるためなら、自分がどれだけ傷ついても構わず、無茶や無謀を押し通すんだ。
He's always forcing himself to do... Oh, goodness. He's always forcing himself to do good unto others, even if it hurts him. stupid. That was a terrible thing to say. But I also remembered how Yves fell through the roof at the church and gave little to no thought about his injuries. But doesn't that mean he's just kind-hearted?
ああ、最初はみんな揃ってそう言うな。イブはいいやつ。何があっても彼への信頼は揺るがない。いい
Everyone
友
says it
人
at
だ。
first. They say Yves is a great guy and a dependable friend.
だがあんただって、いつかは今までの奴らと同じように。
But I bet it won't take long for you to be like the others. The others?
ああ、いや、なんでもね。
Never mind what I said.
とにかく悪いな。初めての仕事だったのに大騒ぎになっちまって。
In any case, I'm sorry about what you went through, especially considering this was your first work order. No, I'm glad I was able to hear your opinion about Yves. Not to mention, I had a great time being able to walk outside without worrying, all thanks to him. He's the embodiment of carefree. Nice to know that can rub off on a person. Ooh, Hugo. After having something light to eat at Courrune, Yves escorted me back to the orphanage. I asked Mother, who was waiting to hear my report, to come to my room where I began to speak about what happened.
優しく強く、皆からも頼られる。他人の幸せのために尽くす好青年。
A young man who is kind, strong, trustworthy, and relied upon by many, who works to bring happiness to others. Is this a prophecy?
まるで冒険譚に出てくる理想的な主人公のような人ね。
Eve
Eve
sounds
sounds
like a perfect hero that appears in a tale of adventures. That analogy suits him well, but Yves isn't a hero in a story, he's just an ordinary person. Which is why I don't want him to be so rash when does things. Which is why I don't want him to be so rash when does things, or something bad could happen. When he does things, got it.
本当に。彼といいお友達になれたようで、よか
I
ったわ。
must say, I'm very happy that you found a very good friend. Mother listened to my report with joy, but then she suddenly paused for a
こんなこ
moment.
とならもっと早く。彼とあなたを再会させてあげるべきだったかしら。
Ooh, plot twist. If this is what you would experience, then I should have brought you two together sooner. Bring us together, not introduce? Was I reading Mother's regretful words correctly? Don't tell me the reason I didn't meet Eve sooner is
ええ
because...
偶然ではなく、アドルフや彼を引き取った施設と相談して会わせないようにしていたの。
It's no coincidence. I asked Adolphe in the orphanage that took him in to keep him away from you.
あの火事の件で、あなたがますます自分を追い込んでしまうことのないようにと。
I didn't want you to question yourself any more than you needed because of that fire. So Yves came to this orphanage only while I was in my room. In turn, Yves was assigned to patrol a distant area as a corpse member so that he wasn't near where I went shopping for goods. But the Bourreau incident and the false accusations pitted on me changed things. She couldn't keep me from finally meeting him since he was the deputy director of the corps. Mother explained everything regretfully. I see. I could only return a simple
怒らな
reply.
いの？
Aren't you upset? How could I be? You arranged everything for my sake and everyone else's. Your worries were justified too, and that was why we eventually encountered each other, was perfect in bringing us together as friends. If I'd actually met Yves somewhere out in town, there's no telling what the results would have been. It would be like any other encounter. I'd probably run away in fear without apologizing and end up hurting him more. When I thought about it, why did I run away in the first place? Yves was so beautiful back then, there was nothing to be afraid of. I let out a sigh of disappointment. thinking about my past. Mother's misunderstood my sigh as being angry, so she apologized. I hurriedly correct her misunderstanding. No. I'm just being dramatic. Thank you. The next day, the work order asked for the three of us. Specifically, we were to go and assist a certain farmer. A number of Reliver families existed in the northwest side of the country where they focused on agriculture and livestock. Our mission today was to open one of them. No, not opening anybody. Our mission was to help one of them. Hugo would be handling the horses. Yves and I would be tending to the field of vegetables and flowers to improve the field's quality. Before getting right into work, Yves and I looked at the paper from the client with a list of what was needed.
この2種の野菜を次の季節に収穫できるようにしてくれって書いてあるけど。
It says that he wants these two types of vegetables to grow so that they can be harvested next season,
こ
but
の2つって見た目は似てるけど、一緒に植えると成長を邪魔し合っちゃうんだよね。
the two look similar, but if you plant the seeds close to each other, they get in the way of each other's
与
growth.
える肥料も違うものになるだろうし、間違えないよう別々の畑に植えた方がいいかな。
Their fertilizer needs are different too, so it might be better to grow them in different parts of the field. Sounds good to me. It's reassuring to be with someone who's so knowledgeable. After Yves determined a plan of action, I rolled up my skirt a bit and got right into planting the seeds as instructed by him. Woo! I never thought seeding the field would be so tiring. Focusing on efficiency, I needed to work smooth by crouching and standing each time over and over again. My stamina drained steadily and my back slowly began to ache. Just go eat a meal, it'll bring your energy back up. I thought it wouldn't be too difficult from planting flowers at the orphanage. In turn, Yves was quickly and smoothly planting the seeds into the ground while removing the weeds he encountered. You really are good at this, Yves. No wonder you're Adolphe's teacher.
慣れだよ慣れ。俺は子供の頃から植物に触れて育ってきたからね。
You just need to get used to it. I can do this because I've grown plants ever since I was a kid. The knowledge he shared with me earlier was something I had never heard of before. At the very least, I was sure that he told me was something that wasn't taught at the orphanage or in classes. Did someone teach you how to grow and cultivate vegetables, Yves?
いたよ。両親じゃなくてじいさまがいろんな植物との触れ合い方を教えてくれた。
Sure, my parents. I mean, my grandpa taught me how to handle different kinds of plants.
俺も個人的にも植物、特に花を育てるのが好きだから、いろい
I
ろ交
personally
配を
like
試してる。
plants, especially flowers, so I sometimes breed the flowers I grow. Breed?
異なる色や花同士を組み合わせて、
If you put
人工的に新しい種類の花を作り出すことだよ。
in a 3-plotted area with a space between them and water them daily, sometimes a new flower grows between them. Animal Crossing taught me that. It's a method where you combine different flowers together to create a new breed of flower. Wow, you can do that? I always thought that flowers are their colors were set as soon as they started growing.
大半の人はそう思ってるはずだよ。施設で習う知識じゃないしね。
Most people think so. I don't think it's taught to be common knowledge. That means
俺の家だけに伝わる口伝なんだ。なんでもご先祖様が植物、特に花が好きだったらしくて。
it's a method that was passed down in my family. One of my ancestors really liked plants, especially
彼が
flowers.
独自に研究した植物についての知識を代々口伝で残し続けてるんだって。俺もじい様から聞いたん
See
だ。
how dark this is with this turned off now. It was darker in the room because the sun wasn't completely up when I got started. Okay. I could just see it in the corner of my eye constantly, and it's been making me sweat. Conducted research on plants. Oops, he conducted research on plants and passed his knowledge down through generations. I learned what I knew from my grandpa, ancestors, grandfather. There was no elderly people in the country, so it was hard to imagine what they looked like aside from being young. But why would you even think that? Because you grew up in this country, so you also would not be picturing old people either. I bet they were gentle and caring like you, Yves. And I remember you said that your knowledge about ingredients and cooking was passed down through your family too.
そうそう。それもおじい様が植物の知識と一緒に残した家訓だからって実践形式で教えてくれたんだ。
Yeah, my grandpa taught me hands-on, just like how he taught me everything I needed to know about plants. Yves squinted his eyes as if
目に入っ
reminiscing.
た人間以外の生物はすべて食べられると思え。食えるときに食っておけ。
He taught me to assume that any living organism besides humans, not humans, is edible, and that I should eat whenever I had the chance.
懐かしいな。じいさまと二人、新しい食材を試食するたびに倒れて、試行錯誤で食べる方法を探してたっけ。
Menace to society. It only feels like yesterday. Grandpa and I would get sick every time we tested a new ingredient to find something new to eat. I'm just glad that they didn't consider humans to be food. It's so nice to have the same hobby and taste as someone you look up to.
うん。じいさまのことは世界で一番尊敬してる。
Yeah, I respect my grandpa more than anyone in the world.
俺もあの人のように、どんなことがあっても花を愛せる人間になりたい。
I can't wait to be just like him, a person who can love flowers no matter what. Yves really loves his grandpa, doesn't he? As someone who had no memory of her parents, I was slightly jealous. But the fact that Yves later was admitted into an orphanage must mean something happened to that person. Even so, he was blessed with such a loving grandchild who looked up to him. I'm sure he was proud of having Yves around. And that's where we come back to who is her parents? Hugo. Hugo.
ああ、今回も俺だけ仲間外れか。
So they're leaving me out again. Hugo's jelly bears.
こう何度もよそのお嬢さんに相棒の世話を押し付けちまうのは申し訳ねえな。
I feel bad that I keep forcing her to take care of my own partner like this.
そうか？あの二人案外うまくやってるみたいだぞ。
What? If you ask me, it looks like those two are doing just
ほ
fine.
ら、顔はうっすらとしか見えないが、楽しそうに作業してるじゃないか。
I can barely see their expression from here, but it looks like they're having fun.
例の死神が来ると聞いたときは気が気じゃなかったけど。
I was a bit scared when you told me the death girl was gonna come to you, but
イブの前じゃ普通の愛らしいお嬢さんにしか見えないな。噂ってのも当てにならないね。
in front of Yves, she looks like any other lovely girl, just going to show rumors aren't always reliable.
寂しいからってふてくされるなよ。ヒューゴ元坊ちゃん。だいたいイブは
Now don't get all huffy just because you're left out, former Master Hugo. Besides,
あの呪われた顔のせいでうちの馬に怯えられてるんだから、一緒に作業できないのは仕方な。
it can't be helped that you two can't work together because his cursed face, it's a scar. Scares the heck out of the horses. Thank you, Hugo. That was my reaction.
うわ、悪かった。今のは
My
失言だっ
mistake.
た
It
な。
just slipped.
謝るぐらいなら最初から言うんじゃねえよ。
If you're going to apologize, don't say things like that in the first
どんな
place.
相手にもお優しいクーネの英雄様なら何を言っても怒らない。
Do you think you can say anything to the kind hero Cohen without him getting
な
upset?
んて思ってんじゃねえだろうな。いや。
Characters got scars is beautiful. Yeah, but it is a scar. But calling it a cursed face, like, you could just say the mask scares the horses. Like, it's fine. Like, I get it. But, like, cursed face? Plus, it also just goes to show that they'll never really accept him and her, which is so messed up. Oof. I'm sure hope that you're not what you're thinking. I sure hope that's not what you're thinking, Wade.
思ってんだろうな。お前も、クーネの連中も、ついでにあいつ自身も。
I bet that is what you're thinking. You and everyone in Cohen, and even Yves himself.
だがまあ、今回ばかりは俺にも理解できねえわ。
That again, I really don't understand him this time.
なんであんなヘラヘラ笑ってやがんだよ。あいつ。
Hugo, are you jelly bears? Like, you sound so jealous. Okay, why in the world is he smiling like some goof when with her around? Cause she's cute. Duh. After washing off the dirt from our clothes, we took a break over some lunch that I had prepared. The farmer asked Yves whether he had spare time, then asked Yves and me to take care of his sheep for an additional fee. Hugo better not be a villain in this route. I mean, I was saying earlier, like, let's raise our hands. Hugo has been a gem from the beginning. But you know what? I thought Jean was hot. I still do. I still think Jean is hot. Jean doesn't stop being hot just because he's terrible. And then who else? Who else has betrayed us? Hang on. We've had so many betrayals. That's all I remember these days. That was Mathis. Lucas? Lucas was a betrayal. Who is Jean? Oh, man. You're right. I'm so sorry. I thought Camille was hot, and I still think Camille is hot. And then Lucas. Lucas we knew was evil, but he was evil even worse than we imagined. Anku is the only person who I feel like is the best. I only know Camille. Oh, God. All right. So the farmer asked us to take care of the sheep for an additional fee. The sheep were scared of us at first, but it seemed like they got used to us after a few minutes of us chasing after them. After wrangling a few of them to the feeding area, the other sheep gathered naturally to the area without our help.
走り回って疲れたね。一段落ついたし、
Hugo got
次
kicked out
の
of
指
his
示が来る
family.
までは休むか。
And he might have said he had got kicked out for a certain reason. That does not mean that's the reason he got kicked out. Anything can be possible. I have this fever blister that I keep trying to remind myself to put chapstick on so it doesn't continue to get worse, because it's bursted a couple times. Just means that it reopened because it's in a spot where my mouth moves. Can't be helped. That was tiring. Now that they're together in the same area, I guess we can rest until something else pops up. Yves naturally took my hand as he beckoned me to sit. As if in sync with us, the sheep began to lie down as we both took a seat on the ground. The round and fluffy sheep slowly dozed off under the warm sun.
羊と触れ合うのは初めて？
Is this the first time you've handled sheep? Yes, or rather, this is the first time I've actually touched an animal. I never knew how nice it feels to have animals being friendly and close to you.
かわいい分、お世話も大変だけどね。羊たちがリコリスを食べようとしたときは、さすがに焦った。
They're cute, but it can be tedious. You can't imagine what I went through when they're tired. Tried to eat the licorice. I wonder if the licorice or the curse of death affects animals. I've never heard of animals dying from the curse. Yves pondered for a moment to think about my curious thought.
リコリスはともかく、死神の呪いは効かないんじゃない？
Licorice aside, I don't think the curse of death has any effect on the animals. We were asking what would we do to get rid of the licorice before. It sounds like maybe the animals could eat them.
前にクルーンの仕事で寿命を迎えた牛を見とったことがあるけど、それらしい発作は出てなかったし。
I was tending to a cow that was reaching the end of its life, but I didn't notice any signs of the curse when it died. I see. Which meant the curse only affects humans. How nice. That said, there were no animals here that could live longer than 23 years, so there was no way of knowing for sure. Maybe Anku knows something about the curse, but maybe he can't talk about it either. Still, I was a bit relieved. Did you hear that? Cute little sheep, it seems like you're safe. But it's dangerous to eat licorice flowers, so don't try to eat them, even if you're hungry. Yikes! A sudden shock came from in front. A spirited lamb came jumping into me as it bleated. Unable to take the charge, I fell back lightly onto the back of the large sheep. I wonder what it wants.
この子たち、君は働きすぎだからもっと休めって言いたいんじゃないかな。
Okay. Maybe it's trying to say that you're working too hard and you should rest. This time, Yves was charged by the large sheep and fell backwards just like me onto the herd of sheep. I checked to see if he was injured, but all I felt around was, they're so soft and fluffy. The warmth and softness of the sheep made my cheeks blush red. Yves, who was also leaning on one of the sheep, laughed until his shoulders shook.
いい笑顔だね。楽しいうちの仕事。
Look at your smile. So the work we do here is fun, right? Yes, very much so, but is it really alright to have something so nice happen to us during work?
それはもちろん。いや、感じ取れなければ、クルーンの仕事をしてる意味がない。
Well, of course. I mean, if you're not having fun, what's the meaning is there in working at Courrune?
この国では、自分と縁のない他人とつながる機会なんて、ほとんどない。
There are practically zero opportunities to form bonds with others in this country.
みんな、自分や大切な人の命を未来につなぐことだけに、
Everyone is
毎
focusing their
日必死になってるからね。
and doing their best every day just to lead themselves and their loved ones into the future.
でも、国中からいろんな依頼が舞い込んでくるこの仕事なら、
But this job brings in work from all over the country and from all sorts of people.
どんな人間が自分と故郷を同じくしている同郷なのか、そ
What
れ
that
を知ることができる。
is that you can learn whether someone grew up in the same hometown. He told me how wonderful that was. Hearing Yves made me mutter a certain word, hometown. I kept muttering the same word over and over again without much reason. I knew what the word meant, but it was the first time I heard it being used. The reason was because everyone lamented the fact that they were born in this deathly, unfortunate country. Hometown, homeland. No one used words of affection for their country even in casual discussions, but
俺はクルーンの仕事を通して、それを知り、少しでも故郷を愛せるようになりたい。
I want to learn more about my hometown through working at Courrune so that I can learn to love
自
it.
分の生まれた場所を死ぬまで否定し続けるのは悲しいからね。
It's pretty sad to continue hating and denying the place you were born unto. You were born until you die. He told me that with a smile that was too easy to be satisfied with what I knew now. He told me with a smile that it was too early to be satisfied with what I knew now. I do think the working at Courrune is very nice, but I doubt I have it in me to actually love this country. I know if those I know were born in another country, they might live a life of happiness without any worries about death. So I don't know if I can love this country. But I really do think what you just said is nice and wonderful, Yves. If I can, I would love to know more about the people who share my hometown too. What I was saying was true. Sensing that I was doing my best to relay my feelings, Yves nodded and gave a happy smile. Still, he's smiling. Don't ruin him. He's got a blush on his cheek. I'm astonished by how kind you are, even to the point of loving this country, Yves.
優しいか。俺は間違っても、君が思ってるような善人じゃない。
God, don't say things like that. It gives me anxiety. Kinda. Leah, just so you know, I'm not the good person you think I am. Huh?
今のはあくまで、クルーンをして気づいたやりがいの話であって、始めた理由じゃない。
This is just what I found to be rewarding after working at Courrune, not the reason why I started the
俺がみん
business.
なの力になり、愛したいと思うのは、決して純然たる優しさではなく、下心あってのもの。
The reason why I try to help and show my love to everyone isn't because I'm kind, but because I have an ulterior motive, and that is money. What do you mean by that?
間違っても無償の献身なんかじゃないってことだよ。むしろ意味としては対極の位置にある。
I'm saying that I'm not doing what I'm doing out of selfishness. Selflessness. The reason behind my actions is the total
だから
opposite.
君も、あんまり俺のことを信用しちゃダメ。都合よく利用されるかもしれないからね。
Yves, you can't be that bad. Like a certain person looks at Lucas. I mean, you're not like killing people and ripping their hearts out of their chest, are you? Like, you can be honest, Yves. We're in a safe space. Which is why you shouldn't trust me. For all you know, I might try to abuse you in some way. Dang. His warning sounded untrue. I shouldn't trust him. I shouldn't trust the person who always treats me no differently from everyone else. Judging by his expression, he isn't saying that out of humility. But if he really is deceiving me by acting nice, then he wouldn't make the effort to warn me like this. Okay, so my options are you're not very convincing, or trust his kindness, but internally. You're not very convincing with all these sheep around you, Yves. I purposely chose to not answer him directly. I didn't want to affirm or deny what he said without knowing him better. I don't want to trust the Yves I've only just heard about over the Yves I already know in front of me. This Yves playing with sheep isn't someone I'm looking at as kind or good. All I can see is happy. Yves having fun. So if you want me to believe that you're not to be trusted, I'll wait until you set the mood elsewhere to prove it. Set the mood!
確かに。せめて依頼が終わってから言うべきだったかな。
You're right, I should have said that after we were done working. We leisurely relaxed our bodies as we smiled among the bleating of the sheep and the gentle sound of the wind. Yeah, show me that you're a bad guy. I don't know if that's... Yves disclosed to me the truth of having an ulterior motive behind his kindness. It wasn't until some time later that I learned what he meant. I found out a few hours later. After receiving our money for our work, the three of us walked together through the town, reddened by the setting sun.
この後はどうする？金も入ったことだし、酒場によって酒でも飲んでくか？
So what now? We got some money on us, so how about we grab some drinks at the bar?
それならアドル
Smell
フ
like
も誘お
farm
うよ。
animals.
最近忙しくて一緒に食事すらできてなかったし。
Then let's bring Adolf with us. We haven't had a chance to go out with him for some time.
あ、でも君はどう？飲めないお酒の場を楽しむより、戻って依頼記録の確認をしたいかな。
What about you, Leah? Since you don't drink, maybe we should go back and check the work order records instead. I was thinking about reading through them, but I don't want to get in the way of your well-earned drink, so I'll just look through the records tomorrow. A casual conversation among the three of us. It wouldn't be unusual if it didn't include the hated death, and the trusted Courrune. I could tell that people were looking at us, but Yves kept chatting with me, so their stares didn't bother me much. We chuckled and smiled as we made our way through the crowd when... Oh, that's right. Yves, yesterday when I was checking your place, I saw that you're running out of anesthetics, so... Huh? A dull and sticky sound, much different from water, could be heard. I realized that it sounded eerily similar to a sound I heard only recently. I looked at Yves' foot. Beneath him was a bright red pool of blood. Someone from behind him had stabbed him with a knife? The moment I understood the situation, the blood drained from my face even faster than the person who was stabbed. Yves?
とうとうやってやった。
I finally did it. What the F indeed? What?
さまみろ、クズ野郎。そのまま死神に召されて死んじまえ。
Take that, you piece of shit. Just let that death next to you take you to hell. A young man stabbed Yves in the arm and was now holding the bloody knife with both hands. The backstabber. Oh my god.
人の相棒によくも
Hugo's not happy. You, how dare you do that to my partner? Yves! As I cried out, Hugo reached out to grab the man who was turning to run away, but Hugo didn't make it in time. Knowing that he could get away, the attacker looked back at us and smiled eerily as he ran through the crowd. But then...
こら、ダメだよ。どんな事情があってのことかは知らないけど。
That isn't nice. I don't know why you did that to me, but he slowly drew his sword out despite his arm being injured.
人を傷つけた以上、詰め所の方で詳しく話を聞かせてくれないと。ね。
Since you harmed me, I need to explain why you did this at our base, okay? He threw, not his sword, but the scabbard straight at the young man. The scabbard flew through the crowd and struck the head of the young man who had let his guard down. He swayed for a moment, and just before he fell to the ground.
ほう、久しぶりに外出してみれば。
Huh, it's been a while since I've been out.
なかなか面白い余興をしてるじゃないか。なあ、クルーン。
You put on an interesting sideshow, haven't you, Courrune?
は？誰だわ？
What? Who the hell are... The man who appeared in front of the culprit mercilessly kicked him in the stomach. I love how the crowd's not helping. Y'all let this man escape. I know, right? You would really feel that in a city like this, that people, I don't know, maybe it's because everyone's relivers, right? I just thought about this. Everyone's relivers, and relivers don't have emotions. So they're just like a person at the end of a 10-hour shift. They're just like, I'm here now. I assume. He didn't end it there. He stomped on the young man's chest with his thick-soled shoes, pinned him in the ground. The young man's ribs creaked and he struggled to breathe. The white lab coat swept in the air as he turned towards us.
久しいな、クルーンどもに死神の娘。相変わらず騒がしいようで何よりだ。
It's been a while, Courrune and Maiden of Death. Good to see you two are spirited as ever. Yes, just remember him like this and not cradling his head in tears. Sheen?
アホが大声で呼ぶな、悪目立ちする。
You idiot. Don't yell my name out in public. I'm sorry, but...
セルネボルからはめったに出ないと言っていたのに、どうしてここへ？
You said you rarely leave Cernavel, so what brings you out here? Yves asked as he held his wound.
ちょっとした野暮用でな。だがまず理由を聞くべき相手は俺じゃないだろう。
I had some things to do, that's all. Anyways, I believe you should be questioning someone else first.
話せ！僕は何も悪くない！
Damn it, let me go. I didn't do anything wrong. Stabbing people is not a crime. Sheen pointed to the man under his foot, struggling to free himself. Fortunately, Yves' wound was under control. We took the man into custody where the corpse were waiting. Upon our arrival, I quickly tended to Yves' wound.
屋根崩壊の件といい、定期的に血まみれになる義務でも負ってるのか、お前は。
Falling through the roof, and now this. Seems like you have a knack for covering yourself in blood.
俺ってそこまで言われるほど怪我ばかりしてる？
Huh? I don't think I get hurt like this too often. Do I? Actually, I can vouch that you've gotten yourself injured in front of me countless times. Adolphe and the others were waiting at the base. Sheen also came with us to pass the time, and they all surrounded the culprit so that he couldn't escape.
くそ、もっと深く切り込んでれば。
No, no. Damn, if only I'd stabbed him deeper. Only if you stabbed him in a more vital area. You stabbed him in his arm and then said, take that and let death take you. That is not a fatal wound unless you get a artery, and I'm pretty sure the arteries run under the side of the arm. So you need to stab him here, but like where exactly, I'm not sure. I really thought you stabbed him in the back, which could be fatal because you could hit his kidney. There's places. And I'm just saying right now that you guys all pretty much get homeschooling, and you had an option, and you chose the weirdest spot to stab a person. Only now, we finally saw the culprit up front before our very eyes. As for his identity, Yves had no idea what his name or background was, but I vaguely remembered his face and his voice from a while back. Isn't he... Ah, we were in love a few days ago.
しつこいわね。話してよ。
You're such a nuisance, let me go.
確かにあなたを愛した記録は覚えているけど、
I remember being in love with
今
you,
の
but
私
like,
には
that's
そ
not
の
my
可能
vibe
性をしょ
anymore.
悪いけど私、
Found someone
ど
new.
うかあなたもあなたであな
Find
た
your
だ
own
っている
happiness.
私への
Bye. I don't do flashbacks. It was him, the man whose lover broke up with him after losing all feelings for him. They did this big flashback because this is from the prologue. Yves looked confused, probably because he remembered him from before too, but it didn't explain why this man who had no relation to Yves attacked him out of the open. Could it be? I recalled something very ominous back then and carefully began to speak. Don't tell me, is that someone new? She said before. Is that Yves?
え
Huh?
は
Huh? The man vexed, groaned, was proof that what I said was true. Everyone around us began to whisper to each other the unbelievable revelation.
ほう。純朴そうな顔をしておいて、女で遊ぶ程度の解消はあったか？
Oh. I guess you do have it in you to fool around with girls despite your innocent look.
からかわないでください、シアンさん。きっと何かの誤解ですよ。
Stop messing with me, Sheen. He's probably just made a mistake.
俺が彼の恋人を見かけたのは、あれが最初で最後。直接喋ったことすらありませんし、好かれるような機会は何も。
I only saw her back then, nothing more. I've never even spoken with her before or have any reason to be in a relationship with her.
最近は酒を飲む暇もなかったからな。酔っ払ってる間にこいつが何かやらかしたって可能性もなしだ。
He hasn't been drinking lately either, so there's no chance he did anything while he was drunk. Does he get dangerous when he's drunk? I need to know. But direct contact isn't the only thing that inspires love, right?
ああ、俺もなんとなく予想はつく。
Ah, I see what you're trying to get at.
一目惚れだってよ。
Yeah, she fell in love at first sight. She's a reliver, my guy. She doesn't
リ
believe in
ライバ
love.
ーになった後、誰にでも優しくしてるこいつの笑顔を見て、惚れ込んだらしい。
Seems like she fell in love with him after she became a reliver and saw him smiling and being nice to everyone.
一目惚れ。
Love at first sight? Ugh.
これだから、こいつの博愛主義は。
Damn you and your angelic nonsense. Oh my god. Figured as much.
くだらん。
Waste of time. Yves was confused by words he didn't hear often while Sheen now looked bored. In turn, Adolphe, who kept seeing people confess their love to Mother at first sight, understood and let out a heavy sigh. Dude, I'm pretty sure I confessed my love to Mother at first sight too. But that doesn't give you a reason to hate Yves. He has nothing to do with you and her. He didn't even know that she had any feelings for him. Maybe don't be a reliver then. That's true.
てめえはあんなくだらねえ理由で人の相棒を殺そうとしやがったのか？
That's right, Hugo. You tried to kill my partner over some lousy reason like that? Hugo angrily grabbed the man by the collar and gave him a good
く
shake.
だらないだと。僕は彼女と添い遂げるためだけに身を削って働いてきたん
Hugo,
だ。
go off. Lousy? I worked day and night so that I could be with her forever.
だったらなんでリライバーになった？誓約書にも恋愛感情は確実に消えるってきっちり書いてあるだろうが。
Hugo knows. Are you stupid? Then why'd you make her a reliver? It says right on the pledge that all emotions of love will disappear.
愛さえあればそんな障害乗り越えられるって信じてたんだ。
Yep, that's your fault. That's right. Shut up. I thought love would overcome an obstacle like that. This isn't Sailor Moon.
俺の作ったリライバーにそんな不具合が起きてたまるか。
I would never accept a glitch like that happening to any relivers I create. Oh my god, the area was in chaos. The man squirmed and yelled at Yves, who was quietly listening on.
優しい笑顔だ。単に外面がいいってだけだろ。
You're so dumb. You are so dumb, for sure. Cute smile, she said. I bet you just have that on as a front.
それに噂で聞いたぞ。そいつがつけてる仮面の下には死神に焼かれた醜い肌が広がってるって。
I heard rumors about you. You have a hideous burn that death gave you under that mask of yours. Doesn't change if he's attractive or not.
それを一目見たら彼女だって幻滅するに決まってる。
I bet it must look hideous. My girl would have lost interest in you as soon as she saw your true face, everyone. Ah, I could hardly breathe. Yves looked on without a word. Everyone who met him for the first time slowly lost interest in his character after learning how good he was. The mask that covered part of his face was familiar to him as his real face, and behind it was proof of the sins I carved into him. Apart from the child at the orphanage who recently tried to take it off, this was the first time I had seen someone point it out. I hate this man more than the researchers who took our girl hostage. I'm out of... I don't know. This seems wild. Would you shut up for 2 damn seconds? Hugo clenched his fist with rage. Stop! Hugo! Ooh, but Adolphe's warning was too late. Hugo's fist was raised in the air and was quickly moving to strike the man. Oh no! Oh, our boy's gonna block him, isn't he?
なんだ。そういう理由なら、まあ仕方ないよね。
Oh, well, guess it can't be helped to have a reason like that. The fist never reached him. The dripping sound of blood was clear. Hugo stopped his swing mid-air as if his arm got tangled in a net. Silence filled the area. All that could be heard was the soft dripping of blood that the bandage couldn't hold, accompanied by Yves' smile. What? Thank you. Aw, you didn't get he didn't punch him. Everyone's eyes were now focused on Yves. Is Yves? What the heck's going on? Yves disregarded the chaos and the bad mood in the air. He crouched down in front of the man on the floor and looked him in the eye. He smiled with his usual warmth. He wasn't frightened at all of the man who stabbed him. Yves looked on from behind his mask. The man who had been cursing him a few moments ago suddenly trembled with fear, looking at Yves'
つまり
eyes.
君は、あんな強行に及ぶほど、彼女のことを強く愛していたっていうことだよね。
What you're basically saying is that you attacked me because you love her that much, right?
なんて一途な人なんだろう。その深い愛を尊敬こそすれ、責めるつもりは毛頭ないよ。
You're a very faithful person. I have no intention of criticizing you. Actually, I admire that depth of your love. What? One drop at a time. His blood dropped at a steady pace. With no regard to the man going pale in fear, Yves nodded as if he was satisfied. But in the next moment, his expression grew
け
stern.
ど、だからって人を傷つけていい理由にはならない。
That said, it doesn't give you a reason to hurt anyone.
奇跡を信じるのは素晴らしいことだけど、明確だった代償に何の覚悟もなく挑み、敗れたからと。
It's nice
人
to
に当たる
believe
の
in
は違うと
miracles,
思う。
but it's not right to blame someone when you weren't prepared for the obvious repercussions.
今回は丈夫な俺が相手だったから、まだ良かったけど、
You're lucky that you went after me this time.
も
But
しも君が先にリライバーとして延命していたら、彼女と立場が逆になっていたかもしれないんだよ。
have you considered the possibility that if you became a reliver before her, she would have been in your position? He shook his head reluctantly.
僕から、
You.
僕から彼女を奪ったこと。
Apologize for taking
謝
her
ら
away
な
from
いの
me.
かよ。
My guy, you are deaf.
ああ、うん。すまないとは思ってるけど、謝るつもりはないかな。
Well, I feel bad about what you went through, but I don't think I'm going to apologize. It's not his fault. It's not his fault, but he's also a little eerie. He reminds me of Mom before she stabbed us in the back in that last route.
君の望みは彼女の心を取り戻すことであり、同情を得ることじゃないだろうから。
Your wish was to get her love back, not the pity of those around you, right? Hearing Yves' reply, the man quickly went limp, so Hugo, who had him pinned to the floor, let him go. The man let out a weak chuckle in dismay and sat himself up on the ground. I could only look on in a stupor. Yves didn't blame the man who struck him and instead forgave him for all he had done. Each word from Yves was truly kind, but...
優しすぎて気持ち悪いな、お前。なんだか別の生き物みたいで。会話が成立してる気がし
Oh my
ねえ。
goodness. You're so kind that it's scary. I feel like I can never get through to you, like I'm speaking to some strange creature. Yves laughed and said he had heard it before.
ローで頭を冷やしたら、クルーンへどうぞ。彼女の心を取り戻す方法を一緒に考えようじゃないか。
Please come by, Courrune, once you cool off in jail. We can think about how we can get your sweetheart to fall for you again. This time, the man chuckled, and at the offer coming from the one he injured.
連行だ、ヒューゴ。
Yves is
被
scary
害
for
者
the
本人の
first
訴えは
time
ねえだろうから、
ever.
2日程度の交流が無難と報告書に残しとけ。
Take him away, Hugo. The victim himself won't report him, so leave a record that 2 days behind bars should be enough. His sweetheart should fall in love with someone else. Yeah, his sweetheart already doesn't love him, so... Hugo reluctantly pulled the man by the arm and took him to the detention room. The others snapped back to their senses, and after making sure Yves was okay, they each returned to their posts. Yves, you're still bleeding. I hurried towards him, seeing that the blood was continuing to spread.
屋根を壊したばっかりだっていうのに、またやっちゃったね。
It was only a while ago that I broke the roof, and now this. Yves.
神聖な教会を血で汚すなんて、リュカ先生に怒られないかな。
At this point, you should be summoning someone with all the blood you're spilling inside a church, honestly. Lucas isn't going to be happy if he finds out I spilled blood in the church. Yves! He gave an uneasy laugh when I stopped him from saying anything more. First, we need to bandage you again. You can laugh all you want after we take care of you. We don't want it to leave a scar. He gave me his things, but his expression didn't seem to match.
いいのかな。彼を傷つけた俺が、そんな簡単に傷を癒して。
I mean, you did some emotional damage there, but honestly, it was well deserved. Is this going to be another one of those characters where I'm like, yeah, it's fine? Are you sure? Do you still want to take care of my wounds after I hurt him like that? Of course. In this case, you did nothing wrong, Yves.
放っておけ、死神の娘。
Leave him be, maiden of death.
その男がどれだけ強がろうが、いずれにせよベッドに運び入れることになる。
No matter how strong of a front he puts on, he will end up in bed sooner or later. Sheen? Sheen picked up a knife that was confiscated from the man.
やはり思った通り。このナイフには微量にだが、毒が塗布されている。
Just as I thought, this knife has very small traces of poison on the blade. He takes on this pose to tell us these things.
傷口が浅い割に出血が多いのもその影響だろう。
I would explain why you're bleeding so much despite the small wound. A stroke down the blade. Sheen carefully ran his fingers down the flat side of the knife blade, then
切られ
chuckled.
てから随分と時間が経過していることから、
It's been a while since he was cut by this,
そのう
so
ち全身に回って意識を失うだろう。よかったな。説得するでもなく、強制的に手当てができるぞ。
I think he'll lose his consciousness shortly. You should be happy that you can tend to him without all the talking. Hugo should torture that man. Huh? And then he's like, duh, like that. Upon hearing Sheen's word, I quickly turned around and, like a wave quickly striking the shore, Yves suddenly went completely pale in the face and then hit the floor. Ah! Yves!
なんだ
What
今度は
now?
おいおい、またかよ。そこの天才科学者が何かしたんじゃねえだろうな。
Not again. That brainiac scientist better not have done anything to him.
この状態になるまで気づかないとは、愉快な男だな、本当に。
You really are interesting, not knowing you were poisoned until the last minute. Without anyone to prop him up, Eve slowly fell to the floor. Oh my goodness, what a hilarious run of events. Later, we moved a bed into Yves's house with the help of Adolphe and the others who came to help. I was allowed to stay with Hugo to keep watch over Yves for the night. Adolphe reluctantly returned to the base to prepare for his patrol shift. It's like, I don't want to leave you alone in this room. Oh! Look at this room. His bed is extra long. I don't know why there's rope on the dresser. Unless he's a werewolf, which would make sense because then he can fight Lucas, who's a vampire. 2 hanging plants, a single stool, just all by itself in the middle of the room. Interesting.
毒といっても、所詮これは一般に普及している薬を混ぜ合わせて作った毒もどきだろう。
I did say it was poison, but it's actually just a simple blend of medicine from the market.
毒性などたかが知れ
The
ている。
market instead of the
適
marché?
切な
How
処置も
could
したこ
you
とだ
use
し、
the wrong word here?
命に別状はないはずだ。
Probably hanging clothes on the rope. It's too forward facing, I feel like, for clothes. Because what do you put inside the cubby then? The virulence of the poison is laughable. Since we've administered the proper treatment, there's no danger to him dying. With his white lab coat donned, Sheen was standing next to the sleeping Yves and completely gave his diagnosis. Gnosis? That's a word. That's good to hear. Thank you very much for helping us, Sheen.
一応礼は言っとくけどよ。イブやアドルフから聞いてたのと、だいぶ性格が違うな。
I'll give you my thanks, I guess, but you are different from what I heard from Yves and Adolphe.
あんた、自分から人助けを申し出るやつじゃないんだろ？どういうつもりだ？
I thought you weren't the
天
type
才
to
科
offer
学者
help.
さんよ。
So why are you really doing this, Mr. Genius Scientist?
何？単なる市場だ。思い返せばブロー捕獲の件における報酬も支払っていなかったからな。
Yeah, I'm still not sure it was rope. Oh, sorry, rope, Bourreau. I looked down and read the sentence at the same time. Changed the word in my brain. It's simply a personal matter. Besides, I don't recall having paid you for the capture of Bourreau.
無論見返りとして2、3質問をぶつけるつもりでいたが。
I do plan on asking him a question or two in return for my service.
肝心の本人がこの状態ではな。お前に聞いても時間を無駄にすることは確実。また日を改めて問いに来る
Sheen
と
is
しよう。
so deadly. Hugo, be grateful my husband helped. But I doubt I can get what I want now. Asking you two is a waste of time, so I'll come back another day for the answer. Oh, the wrong one.
ではな、死神の小娘。せいぜいそれまでは、この面白い生き物を殺してくれるなよ。
Farewell, maiden of death. The only thing I ask of you is to not reap the life of this interesting creature. Understood. Sheen spoke in a tone that even I could tell was joking, then left Courrune immediately afterwards. Because of Sheen, we were able to avoid the worst, but the poison still did get into Yves, which was keeping his fever rather high. I squeezed a towel wet with cold water and looked at Yves' red face a bit as he slept. He did drink some medicine, so his fever should go down by tomorrow, but...
言ったろ。こいつは優しすぎるあまり、バカになってるって。
Like I said before, this guy is so nice that he can be just plain stupid.
いや、バカの部分を異常に置き換えた方がしっくりくるか。
No, maybe replacing the word stupid with abnormal fits him better. Either way, I think I can understand what you mean now, Hugo. Hugo prepared more towels for Yves while telling me his thoughts. Hearing him finally made me realize Yves is a person who's able to accept both the good and bad in people and love everything as a whole.
ああ、 いわばあいつは博愛精神の権下ってやつだ。
Yeah, in other words, he's the personification of benevolence. What a word to learn today. Alright, guys, let's open our glossaries. A charitable desire to do good for others. That's not enough. That's not even the true definition.
普通に見えて、優しいなんて言葉一つで表現できるようなやつじゃねえんだよ。
He seems normal, but he isn't someone who can just be described as a kind person. He found meaning in life by saving and loving every person. His kindness even extended to villains, and depending on their reasons and beliefs, he could acknowledge and accept
ただの
them.
平和主義な、綺麗事好きなお坊ちゃんなら、俺が叱り飛ばすだけで済む。
If he was some peace lover who only saw things in a good light, then a stern scolding from me would take care of everything.
だがイブは、分別をわきまえてるっつか、
But
締める
Yves,
ところは締めるからな。行動が異常だと分かってても、
gosh.
止められねえ
Yves
んだ。
knows where to draw the line. He knows when to give up. So even if he acts weird, I can't really stop
こい
him.
つが異常であればあるほど、救われる人間が生まれるからよ。
The more abnormal he is, the more he saves those around him. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I was going to come back yesterday. I made a tweet about it because I had called my sister after I stopped my stream to verify we were doing stuff at 5. It turned out it was earlier than 5, so I was like, that's not enough time to stream. So sorry about that. I was planning it, but then I found out we were doing stuff sooner than I anticipated. And then it was funny because my sister, when we were going places, she's like, oh, you're yawning. It's time for bed. I'm like, I yawned the whole day yesterday, and if I hadn't been streaming, I probably would have taken a nap. I yawned through almost all of Sheen's, and I was looking forward to Sheen the whole time. It looked like I was bored, but I swear I wasn't. Ooh, is this? Oh, it's not bloody.
どうし
Well,
て
not
こんな
bloody
こと
yet.
をするのか。じっくり彼に話を聞いてみたいところだけど。
If it was up to me, I'd ask why he's doing this. Doesn't seem like he'd be
話は
willing to
徹底
listen.
的に叩きのめして踏んじばっ。大
Wait,
丈
he
夫
can。find out now. We're not
君
doing.
の
We
言
don't
そ
do
の
these. Just like how Yves faced Bourreau back then, I heard from Adolphe, who fought with him, that Yves said it would be an endearing smile. Yeah, I thought I was not gonna have plans until 5, so I was like, yeah, that's fine. I can stream for a couple hours, and then we end up leaving at like 3:30. So I was like, it's too soon. But then I was just yawning the whole time. Apparently that's all I did yesterday was yawn, and I'm still doing it right now. It's just too early. It's almost 11. That's far too early to be not yawning. He said that Bourreau needed to repent for what he had done, but he still respected him as a person and tried to show him love, which was why he said that he could love me even though I was death. As unreasonable as it was for the man to attack Yves didn't blame him at all. It was beyond the definition of kindness. It was also different from love, too. I agree with what he said, but I still didn't fully understand him, so I continued to listen.
そういう異常性が、クルーンや自警団の活動でも、時折垣間見えちまって。
His abnormal way of life can be seen when he's working at Courrune and the corpse.
惹かれるっつうか、微妙な空気になっちまうんだよ。
Daylight savings ruined my sleep. I get so sleepy at 5 p.m. It was dark outside at 5. I'm trying to remember if it was dark here at 5. I know when we were coming back from doing our errands, it was a little bit about 5. I think it was getting dark too. But we're in Arizona. We don't do daylight savings. It just naturally starts getting darker around that time here. I don't like daylight savings. Actually, the only thing I like about Arizona is that we don't have it. And I really think at this point in our lives, we can just accept that maybe the entire world doesn't need to, not the entire world, but we don't need to change our times twice a year. Let's just keep it the same. Lucky. It's lucky and weird at the same time because I have to double check what's happening. Like for an example, when games release and it's midnight, like a midnight release for a game where it's not like a true midnight, but like whatever it turns midnight at I think it's East Coast first. it turns from like 9 to 10 here, and it's just sad. It hurts my feelings. Because now we have to stay up later. But in actuality, it's the same time. Some keep their distance from him, which doesn't help with the mood. Oh no. I suppose his way of thinking isn't normal, but he's doing things because he cares, so it's not fair that people hate him for.
それ、原因になったあんたが言う。
Hugo, you do know you're the cause, right? Huh?
少し外の空気を吸ってくる。夕方の野郎の言葉を思い出したら、苛立ってきちまった。
Hugo, how could you? I'm gonna step outside. Remembering what that guy said today is starting to piss me off again. Hugo entrusted me with Yves and quietly left the room. What was Hugo gonna say? His voice had been too quiet for me to hear. It's all your fault. Oh no. Yves and I were the only ones in the room. The bowl filled with water was reflecting the beautiful crescent moon that was peeking through the window. But the master of the house, of this room, was in no state to see the moon in the bowl or the actual one in the sky. He's not sweating as much anymore, but he still looks like he's in pain. Maybe the fever was actually up again. I wetted the towel that was on his forehead so that it could be placed back to cool him down. I hate that people don't realize that she feels guilty. I think the point is that they sometimes do, which maybe that's why Hugo didn't repeat and spoke under his breath, but obviously our character can still can hear things. But I don't enjoy the fact that she blames herself so wholeheartedly about all this stuff. Like, you aren't doing that. Like, you're not literally trying to kill people. You'd be a totally different person if you were. In fact, I don't know if people would be so forgiving. I want people to be in her position so badly. That, or maybe we need a different version of our character who is evil, and then she can just kill everybody intentionally with love. I don't think it's working very well because his mask is in the way. Hugo and the others carried Yves to the room without any concern about him having his mask on, which meant unless there was an emergency, he probably didn't want to take his mask off. At least that I could tell. Are we gonna move his mask? Don't do it. If so, then I can't take the mask off his face even if I'm trying to take care of him. If so, then I could at least try to wipe the sweat around his mask. Yu's eyes closed from the pain suddenly opened wide. He quickly grabbed my hand that was near his face. For a moment, Yves' eyes wandered a bit as he panted in pain. Yves, is there a problem? I hesitantly spoke Yves' names, at which point he let go of my arm.
ごめん。仮面を外されるかと思って。痛めてない？
I thought you were going to try and take my mask off. Are you okay? I'm fine. Please just stay still and rest. He probably didn't have the strength to fight right now. As he complied and relaxed on the bed, I offered him a lullaby to help him go back to sleep. Hugo told me that you're able to love anyone no matter who they are, Yves. So I have to ask, why are you so kind even to someone as sinful as death?
違うよ。荒れるんじゃない。俺はあろうとしてるだけだ。
You got it wrong. I'm not kind at all. I'm trying to be kind.
すべては、こんな自分でも愛してくれる人を見つけるために。
But if you're pretending, then how will they know who you are? I'm doing that because I'm trying to find someone who will love me for who I am. He gently touched the mask that even he wouldn't remove. The reason why Yves showed so much love was because of the burn I inflicted upon him. That was easy to tell just by looking at his reaction, which was why, Yves, after living with you for some time now, I've come to know both good and bad sides of you. At the same time, I've also told you everything about myself that I could. So if you don't mind, can I please ask you about your past? I'm definitely gonna cry during Yves' root. Oh no, am I? How is that burn I caused you related to your kindness? Please tell me. Yves looked at me with gentle eyes.
そっか。勇気、持てたんだね。
I see you're brave, aren't you?